Okay, okay, okay. Hello, people. Oh, God, it has been a rough day and a half. I'm telling you. I'm trying to do the publications. Yeah. So, didn't get much done today because I've been going through toothache for about 2 weeks now, and it's been a nightmare trying to get a dentist. Like, I'm struggling to get a dentist. So the pain was so bad, I couldn't get anything done, you know, that to even go to college today or go to work was just out of it. My mouth was swollen and everything. If you look at me properly, you see that I'm still struggling to talk a bit because of, it's on this side. So yeah, I just stayed in bed feeling sorry for myself. And I didn't realize I had actually switched off all the notifications on my phone, so I missed out on a couple of phone calls. But then, then today, uh, sorry, I'm trying to be comfortable. Yeah. Then today, like Ron and I had talked about the topic yesterday, and I said, Ron, this is a topic I think we should do because I was watching something on Nollywood. I've become a reconverted Nollywood watcher. So watching something on Nollywood. Before I go into that, do you know it's possible to actually burn yourself with cold water? I burnt myself. I don't know if you can see it. I burnt myself and I have a blister from cold water. It was so cold, it actually burnt my skin. And they said, oh, that's frostbite. But it's very, very painful. So, anyways, no wonder I've been wondering why I couldn't see because I didn't have my glasses. I was like, I can't see, oh. But now I look like my grandmother. No, I love this wig, but this wig doesn't love me. Makes me look old. Anyways, so I was watching a film on Rock TV, and this man had been cheating all over the place on his wife, cheated with his wife's best friend, tried to cheat with his wife's sister. Like the guy was just cheatmatus primus the first, cheating everywhere. And then his wife had just, like she had begged him, she had gone to church, she had changed her attitude. She was like, she was the one chasing him up and down the house for sex. Like everything that everyone was saying that, oh, you're not giving him enough sex, you're not cooking for him, you're not asking how his day is. Basically, it was always her fault that he was cheating. There was a time she was even crying that what more do you want from me? And his response was, don't you know women is a natural thing for us to cheat? It's not anything you've done. You've not done anything. I love you, but the streets need me. Actually use the term the streets the streets needed him. So he was cheating on his wife because the streets needed him. So the wife got sick and tired of it. And of course, his people will come, her own people too will come and tell her that, you have to, listen to your man. You can't get fed up. Men are babies, men are this, men are that. And then she decided she wanted to start feeling good about herself. So she started going to the gym, just trying to do something different for herself, which was not centering around her husband. And she met this stud muffin of a gym guy. It wasn't an instructor, but it was one of the guys that came to the gym. And he started like checking her out, talking to her. Basically, we're just being a listening ear and everything. And she was just like, she's so sick and tired of the whole mess that she's even scared to sleep with her husband because she doesn't want any disease to be brought home to her and this and that. That every time she has sex with him, she always has to go and run a test the very next day and the next week just to make sure that she's all right. She's sick and tired of that they know her at the hospital and this and that she can't even like say, okay, protect me and use condoms or whatever. So we were just there, they would chat, of course, make fun of each other, that kind of stuff. Well, bada bing, bada boom. She starts to sleep with him. And of course, she's now happier. She's smiling. She's getting the good D. So, she doesn't really care about him anymore. She comes home. She's still doing all of our wifely stuff because we women, we slick like that. That's the thing that men think. Men think that, oh, we're so enamored with sex that we forget ourselves. Hey, slick and all that. And so the husband was like, you're looking very nice, you're looking fit. I said, oh, thanks, everything. And that was it. He was just like, oh, he passed her the perfunctory, comments, and she was supposed to be happy with that. And she was like, oh, thank you, that kind of stuff. And one of his friends happened to, so of course they started seeing each other outside of the gym. They started going out to town, going out and about. And one of her husband's friends saw her, but she didn't see him. And he was like, dude, I just saw your wife. Does she have a cousin? They were like, no, she doesn't have a male cousin. It was like, oh, I saw her with a guy. They're really like chummy. They were laughing and everything. I was like, yeah. So he got home and was like, oh, my friend saw you with someone and he said that you guys were really chummy and all that. She was like, oh, it's just a business contact, that kind of thing. Anyways, in case anybody is watching the film or has watched the film, no vex. I can't remember the title. So she was like, oh, that's, she's just a friend, that kind of stuff. And apparently he started to get like really suspicious. Then he started being like, where are you going? You can't go out. If she says she wants to go somewhere or do something, sometimes you just be like, I don't want you to go to work today. And she'd be like, well, I have to go to work. And he'd be like, no, I'm your husband. You have to stay at home. Blah, 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 this and that. And it's funny to me. You're busy gallivanting up and down the town, but then the prospect of your wife cheating on you and you want to die. Anyways, so then one day, which always happens, he stumbles on the two of them in some public place, and this time there was no hiding or saying that whatever. And she was like, okay, you caught me, so I catch you all the time. And because there was a time he even brought a girl home to their bed, and she came home early and caught him in bed with this girl. And his response was like, what? At least I'm not taking everything out to the streets. Just made some flimsy excuse. I was like, I mean, when I watch TV, I suspend disbelief a lot. I was screaming. I'm sure my neighbors must think I'm mad because I was screaming at the TV. I was so angry. Anyways, so guy loses his rag, starts to scream, starts to shout. He wants to fight the gym guy, but then he sees the guy's muscles. So he's like, he's upset because he can't even fight because gym guy will beat his ass down. And it got me thinking, why does cheating hit differently with men? And incidentally, it wasn't planned. I didn't mention it to anybody. But all of a sudden, virtually every article, video, everything was about cheating. I was like, isn't it funny? Infidelity is a big issue. So that's what we're talking about today. And I'm just giving you the genesis of how it happened. So I'm going to be calling on the Rev because, of course, he's always going to be telling us the traditional and religious way of dealing with infidelity, which I'm sure is, forgive and forget. Don't do the thing that your man is doing. I know he's gonna come up with some price. Come on, you never play music on applause. For you will come, you'll be applauding yourself. Wait there. Oh crap!
Thanks.
I just realized I didn't put on one light. Let me quickly do that. You keep talking.
I knew if I don't come on now, you swing the narrative somewhere else. Eh? So how are you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, my
I just went to adjust the lights. which is
Yeah,
now
my
going on my glasses. Okay.
oh, okay. Yeah, my day
You
was.
like my ring?
Have I not seen this one before?
Yeah, you saw it on my birthday now.
Yeah, it looked familiar. So,
I love it. It's so cute. Continue.
from one controversial topic to another one.
You said this thing was going to go off. I don't like it.
What's that?
The writing, I don't like the font.
When the third person comes in,
Okay.
why must, why must you complain over everything? Anyway, so
What did I complain about?
what you complain?
Okay, continue, Reb.
So it's a controversial topic. It's not that simple.
Hi.
Okay, first and foremost, my day was quite hectic. So you can imagine me coming from a hectic situation to another hectic subject. And I've got friends who say, okay, we are really going to look into this topic today. And I'm like, okay, you guys should not raise dust like the last time that the whole internet knew we were fighting.
No, we never fight. We might raise our voices and argue, but we never ever fight.
So I've seen situations. Okay, let me bring in Maya.
Maya is here. Hey, Maya. Hey.
So,
Hi, Abby.
can you hear the sound effects?
Hi, everyone. Yeah?
I can hear
Hi.
it.
Oh, so you can hear this.
Continue.
Can you
So,
just go on with your talk, please?
so I've seen issues like this, whereby, in fact, when I was listening to the story, the only thing that was odd about it was the fact that the guy was still being jealous upon his negligence or his marital what is it, abdication. You know, I know some men they've gotten to that point. They're like, ah, do you enjoy yourself? Just leave me alone. I just want to run the streets. So that's the only time I get to hear run the streets because they've already given the wives money, cash. They say, can't you see your friend Tony? She has you see the muscular boy. She's kind of you. I just leave me a female now. Leave me alone. Am I the only machine that is existing? So when you try to think about these things, you want to use a rational mind to think about it like, okay, this thing is not supposed to be happening in families. But you find out that these things are rampant everywhere. You know, they do happen. And sometimes you begin to wonder, and these partners, they know, you know, and this I've known before the Will Smith and Jada Pickett situation. I've always seen it happen. So, and the society frowns more on women than they do against men when cheating is involved. It's not something that started now. It's not something that happens only in traditional societies. It happens even in advanced society. They still shame women over men, you know, when these things happen. Because by default, we, uh, we tend to think that, okay, this is a woman and she's the like what's the word for lack of a better word, she's like the angel in charge of the house. No matter what happens, she's the one who keeps the home front and all that. And generally now I'm not saying it's every woman, I'm just saying that generally speaking, it's assumed that once a woman cheats, the house, the home front crumbles. Like it's like loyalty switches. That it's believed that whoever it is that was so good to convince the woman to cheat, her loyalty will shift to her. And when you watch all these crime and investigation channels, especially, you find that once that loyalty shifts, the new guy kind of has like kind of a way of infiltrating her brains and controlling her, and that is also dangerous. However, either ways, I don't support any of them. I'm just
Quick
giving. No, I
question,
don't
please.
support. Hmm.
Quick question. You said when the woman now has this guy, he has a way of infiltrating her brain. But the men who are sleeping with women, who they'll stalk their daddy, rub their stomach, and next thing they're buying car. Isn't their brain infiltrated? Or the next thing they're spending huge amounts of money that they should take to their family. Because it's always funny to me how when men sleep with women, their brains are not infiltrated. Hello, Mr. H. Hi, Candy. It's always funny to me that when
Bookie, try log out,
Bookie, you
log
need
in
to
with
put
your
on your
camera.
camera.
Please put on your camera, log out, log in again with your camera and your microphone activated.
Sorry, I need to switch off the fan. It's making a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
noise. Sorry, my fan was distracting me. I couldn't hear myself. Okay,
Oh,
so can you hear me? Uh-huh.
yes.
So how come when the man is having one small girl rubbing his stomach and saying, "Oh, Zaddy, this and that," and he's spending money and buying plot of land and buying car and buying his brain is never infiltrated. But God help a woman, she starts to sleep with a man. The man has entered her brain. As
I
if it's
think we
only
need
the
to look
man's
at
it's only the woman's brain that is entered. The man's brain, uncle.
okay. In that case, okay, let's look at it from the perspective of consequence. Who bears the heavier consequence when these things happen?
But why should
The,
the woman bear
the
the
woman,
heavier
the woman,
consequence?
I'm even trying to
the
understand what he means
woman.
by
No,
consequence. What is
consequence like
consequence?
when you cheat, a man cheats, a woman cheats, or a young man starts sleeping around
Either
early,
ways,
and
the woman bears it more,
the woman suffers it in any
suffers
scenario.
it,
But
any
why?
scenario.
Why? Why is it that
Yeah,
way? Why should a woman
She
it's
suffer
could
a
get
more?
man's fault.
pregnant. She could get pregnant. She's even more susceptible to receive diseases. So either way, she loses.
And on
Bọ́nà
her own too,
àti
she's the
sẹ́yìn
one that
Yorùbá
will even
ìbọn
lose the
ní
home.
àwọn ọjọ́ wọn ni gone are the days when women would
No,
not take care of their own sexual health. The average woman I know has condoms in her own purse. Like we
assuming,
take care of
no,
our own sexual health. We are
Some
assuming.
not
women are not
doing
that smart
who
though.
is
Some
doing
women
that
are not
one?
that smart.
Not all women are that smart. Oh, you are only
Some
But
women
the
are
same
assuming.
way
not
not
that
all men
smart.
are smart. Till today, we still find married men who also gonna give one girl belly outside or give several. So it's not a matter of some women. People are
See,
not everybody is smart.
okay, let's put them on equal levels. A man is promiscuous, the woman is promiscuous, both of them decide to go and cheat. The woman is at a higher risk.
Me, I don't know about that one.
That's
No.
it.
I see that promiscuous that you are saying because again,
No,
how
I'm
many
putting
people is
them
he
on the
sleeping
same
with?
level.
How many people is she
No,
sleeping with? How many people is he sleeping with?
let's
That's
even
the
say
other
they are on
question.
the same level. We're placing them on the same level
But
now.
I'm trying to
Let them
understand why is it that the woman is the one that bears the oh okay, is it because she has children? So because she has children.
wait. She already has children. She's susceptible to receiving more children and receiving diseases, STIs.
The man too has risk of having more children, oh,
Yes, the
and
man.
also getting STI.
Remember, we are placing them on the same level, right? Committing the same offense, right?
Eh,
The woman is more susceptible if you place them on the same level.
I don't believe that. To me, they are both because at the end of the day, the man goes to cheat, brings another woman in, or has a child outside. The same children in that house will still suffer. They will suffer. The
It's
same way, if their mom goes to have another child outside and they cause casala, the same children
sorry.
will they will still suffer both
Let me ask
ways.
you a question. Let me ask you a question. Both of them go out to cheat. The man produces a child outside. The woman
Mm.
produces a child outside. Who is more likely to bring the child inside the house?
The woman, of course.
And the woman will bring the child inside the house because
Whose
most of the
child
time
is
she will
falling
rope it
into
around
that?
the
So we
man
know
now.
that these are products of infidelity. Which child, who is more likely to bring his own product
Oh,
inside the house?
if they are both products of infidelity, that we know
Yes.
that. Because again, society says a woman should accept men cheating. This one. So the man is most likely to bring. That is if the woman accepts that she's going to be babysitting someone else's kid. Because if she says
In
she's not doing it, then well, he better be ready to take care of his child that he brought from outside.
Okay,
Then
let's speak in a general spectrum. In a general spectrum, 80%
a
of the
general
time
spectrum is why we are having this conversation, though.
okay, in a general spectrum, 80% of the time they will convince the wife somehow to allow the child come in. It
Yes,
happens
because
all
they'll
the
use
time.
culture and religion and all that bullshit to convince her. That's what they will use now. They say, why can't
Yes,
they convince the man to let the child come and stay?
you don't want me to give
Uh-huh.
scenarios. I'm just giving scenarios.
Mr.
Scenarios.
H, oh yeah, tell
Yeah.
us what's on your
I
mind.
think it's Maya. Maya.
Oh,
Maya.
sorry, Maya. Maya, yeah,
Maya.
Maya, talk.
Um, I feel the woman still bears the heat of the whole thing because it's like it's a man's world where everything favors them. It's true now. Because when the man
You
goes to
contact.
cheat, when the man go to cheat, the woman, even if she tries to get angry and leave the house, the parents will still tell her, and just manage, just calm down and go back, and no matter what it is, and it will be fine. Just they just make you feel it's okay. But when it's the other way around, we no go gree oh. Everybody will start shouting on the woman's head, as in, let her go. Why will she be all like this? Let her go.
Hey! You
Hello,
know what I'm
people. Good
dancing, yeah? You know what I'm
afternoon.
dancing? Hello, Booby!
Hi, my people. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Are you hearing what your people are saying?
I was hearing the rubbish that Ron was saying right now. Ron
Uh-huh.
is on his agenda.
Uh-huh.
He's on
Thank
agenda
you.
to stay
Because I
away
was
from
like, let me
cheating.
not
It's
talk too
another
much
way
away
of
from people to
gender.
come.
Mm.
You're muted, Ron. It's not funny watching you talk and why you're muted.
Candy will not misbehave today. I have a record book here because I downgraded her the other time. She can't go lower than the last time. So let's continue,
Candy,
Maya.
don't mind him. He cannot downgrade you. If he tries, I will lift you up myself. Lift him. So Maya, you believe that the woman gets to suffer more
The
because
woman
somebody
suffers
will
more.
always convince her that she should stick around for the rubbish.
Exactly. The woman suffers more. And in that, we've even had a lot of women lose their life for this kind of situation. You
Why? How do
understand?
they
So,
lose their lives?
yes, when the man cheats, and maybe they try to confront or something like that, the man might raise up, battering them, start beating them, and like that. You know, a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
women go through a lot
So
of
you cheat
things.
on me and then you beat me on top of it. Okay.
So that's
No,
what,
I'm just trying
you
to put
know.
it in context.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. It's so funny. It's so devastating,
Outrageous,
and it's
isn't
so
it?
touching. The
Absurd,
way,
rather.
yes, it's so absurd. Yes, how all these things we allow it to happen.
Well, because this is the thing. I think that women use that thing of, are you the first woman to let this happen? Or are you the first woman that this will happen to? But because I'm not the first, and doesn't mean I have to join the group of women that it has happened to and who stuck around. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the thing I'm trying to. Hey,
Yes, in the
I don't know
Who
whether
house.
is
greatness is
nice?
a man or a woman. I've forgotten.
Witness is
But
our counselor.
hey,
Princess.
sorry, oh. I'm sorry, I have to take. My brain is not in total function today. Just forgive me. No, everything is kotoks in the head right now. Okay, Candy, because is it Candy or Mr. H?
Mr.
Yeah,
H was on before me.
Okay, Mr. H. So let's hear your view.
yeah. Good evening, everybody. Good morning. Yeah,
Good
yeah,
evening, good morning, good
yeah.
afternoon.
Depending on where you are, you know.
Wow, it
My
really
own.
sounds strange to me. Candy, can you hear this? Because it just sounds like a whale. I can't actually hear words.
Oh, really? I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you have to log out and log in.
Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that um it should not be allowed or shouldn't be tolerated in the secular world. Normally, in the secular world now is the woman that suffers most, because people will say no, yeah, men can do that, it's okay, but women cannot do that. But I believe both parties shouldn't even do it because it's when the woman cheats, she's heavily criticized, and when the man cheats, people say, "Okay, forgive and forget." But in the secular world, is the woman that gets the most bashed up and down. But normal, what I think is that it shouldn't be so. In a relationship, a man or a woman shouldn't do that because at the end of the day, it's going to bring a lot of trust issues. It's going to bring a lot of things. So I believe that they should be on the equal scale. If you don't want the man to do it, the woman shouldn't do it. If the woman shouldn't do it, the man shouldn't do it. It should be like that. We shouldn't side one party to do it. We shouldn't say it's okay for one party to do it and the other party should not do it, or the other party should do it and the other party must consider, or the other party must absorb the other party because they are probably because they are the weakest cells, or it's a man's word. I don't think so. I think everything should be on a scale of 50-50. If you are in a relationship or in a marriage, the woman shouldn't do such a thing and the man shouldn't do such a thing. Even if they are tempted, people will say, okay, I'm tempted to do this because I've been with my wife. Somebody will say, "Oh, let me give you if you simply say, oh, you cannot be eating jollof rice every day. You have to try amala. Things like
Eh,
that." But, yeah, that is why men go do it. But what I'm saying is that the two people should sit down together. If you're not even enjoying your sex life or you're not liking it anymore. Sometimes you want to try variety, but you can ask your partner, can we do something differently? Can we spice up our sex life so that you don't go out there and start looking for other people that will bring problem and division to your home? Sometimes this thing, it's like we're not contented. We human beings, we allow the body to take over. And we're not contented. You see this one, you run after this one, you see this one. But if you're able to sit down with your partner and say, look, we've been doing this, all this same style is not, it's boring us now. It's boring me now. Let us spice it up. Let us do this. I think it will help instead of you go and do this. I think it should be on a 50-50 scale. Women should not be allowed to do it. Men should not be allowed to do it. That's
Mr.
what
H, I want to ask a question.
yeah.
I have heard some men say they cheat not because the sex at home isn't good.
Yeah.
It's just that whole thing of variety, or oh, she's different from my wife.
Yeah,
It's a different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
sorry.
not the sex. It's not the sex that made them go out.
Yeah,
It's
Yes.
just,
but what you
oh,
must,
this
yeah,
whole.
but
And
what
then
you must understand,
their
yeah,
usual
what you must
slogan,
understand is that
"Mama,
we follow what we see. Women follow what they hear. That's just two different
Says
things.
who? But who came up with this big fat lie? So our own eyes in our head is for decoration. We don't
No,
see.
it's true.
We're
It's true.
speaking
Women, we like
generally.
No,
to
I'm
decorate too.
asking him now.
It's
I said,
mm,
do when they say these things, do
mm.
they seriously believe that we women have eyes in our head for decoration? We don't use it to see too. We don't see
You
six
know,
pack. We don't
it's
see V
beyond.
shape.
It's beyond. It's beyond that because I will tell you there's some things a woman will do that people will see. We say no, you're a woman. You're not supposed to do this.
Double
And there's something
standards.
men will do, and people will say, "Oh, okay, it's a man. Let him do it." That's it. It's still based on equality, like what we said the last time. The world is not taking men and women to be of equal. standard in anything, in a social life, in secular life, in the workplace. That's the problem. The problem, what I'm saying is that, again, it boils down to both of them. You must be contented with what you have in the house, and you must be able to discipline yourself as a man and as a woman too. So most of this thing is like women want, okay, I want to do my hair 100,000. The man cannot afford it, so you see, once somebody that can, I will tell you, no, it shouldn't be like that. Some men too, my woman is not tall enough, she's not fat enough, she's not sexy enough. You must do it, all those stereotypes.
You didn't
You must
know
be able
before
to be
you married
contented
her.
with. When you have contentment, then things will work out. If you are
You
able
see,
to
all of a sudden she's
because
not
women too, they like things. When they see cars, they see this thing, they begin to jump. But sometimes all that glitters is not gold. You know,
On
maybe
both sides.
yeah, maybe the man too just want to chop and run away. You know, just want to chop,
Or
but the
chop and stay.
and chop and stay. So it's just
The
like a
thing
cat
is
and
that
mouse,
you cannot just
cat and
satisfy
mouse
a
chase.
man. They usually use that slogan, man must not live by bread alone.
May,
So
may I
they
ask a
just
question? My question is, do you believe that every person should be either married or in a relationship? Do you
No.
think that
Yeah, some people, no, honestly, we need in the new world that we are now. Yeah,
mm,
I've met some people. I have friends that have said to me, Mr. H, me, I will not get married. Piam. Me, I would, because I would say, oh, why did you want to get married? He said, no, women have this sense of entitlement. I said, and there's some people I will meet, they said, no, I just want people that will give me kids, and that is all. So everybody have their own specification. I want to get married and settle down, but I can't talk for the next man. So everybody be talk for themselves. But I believe that each and everybody should either be in a relationship or be married or settle down to have kids and let the world go on. That's my own view. But some people are like,
it's not gonna
no,
happen though?
yeah, some people, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking for myself. Some people are like, look, I don't want to get married. I just
I'm
want to
for
have
the
kids.
streets. The
Yeah,
streets
yes.
need me.
Because and sometimes you won't blame them. Sometimes you won't blame them because you get babies. People have broken their heart. They've seen so many things and they're tired now. They say, okay, maybe they see their friends, marriage is not going well, and they will ask themselves, so me too, if I get married, this is the kind of thing I put myself into. No, I don't want it at all. Please, let it go. So that's it.
But do you know that there are people who nothing bad happens to, they just don't have any desire to be married?
Yeah, some people are like that. Some people just want to come and enjoy life. Some people they just want to enjoy life, make their money, eat it alone, enjoy and die and go. They don't want to.
Enjoy life, eat it alone
No,
and
some people,
die.
some people are like that. Around you can blame me. Some people are like that. They just want to make their money,
See
enjoy
them
it
every
alone,
day.
enjoy themselves, and be happy. They don't want to, they don't want to even have children or have a wife. They just want to be up and down. They just want to be happy to the fullest. They want to enjoy it to the fullest, and then they can go. It's fine. It's fine with them. It's everybody's
Candy,
mindset.
I can see that you are saying something. So Candy, next, you're next.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the topic at hand is like I don't even know what to say. Honestly,
I'm grading you. I'm grading you.
I don't even know
You're
what to
not
say. I
grading
mean,
nothing. Continue, Candy.
so I can't read the whole thing. Why does infidelity do
Why
what?
does infidelity hit so differently between the genders?
Oh,
So why does it hit men differently than when it hits women? So when a man finds out that his woman is cheating on him, he almost wants to die. And
well,
meanwhile, when
see,
a woman finds out that her man's cheating, she wants to die, but then everyone expects her to, so just be like, oh, it's one of those things. Men cheat, is who they
yeah.
are. It is what it is. Welcome,
Well,
Buki. Thank you so much for joining, Mr. Consequence. Thank you for joining. I'm still looking for Mr. Justin. Okay, yeah. So Candy, continue.
so I'm of the thought that why men take it so, or at least I know like Nigerian men, why they take it so hard is that whole thing that goes back to women are essentially a man's property. You know, how are you gonna give how are you gonna be giving what's mine to
Jesus
somebody else?
Lord.
Ron, can you stop, please?
No, but seriously, that is what I think. That it's an ego thing. It's like, you belong to me. Like, how dare you? Like, that's whether Ron wants to shake his head or whatever. This is how a lot of men think. Like, a woman
Mm.
is is theirs, and you can't you can't step out on that. And like you said, for women though, we're just supposed to just roll over and take it, because they've told us, they've ingrained into us that the ultimate goal in this life is for us to be stuck to a man for the rest of our lives. So
Apostle, we hear of this.
if so if our man's cheating, we're just supposed to like pretend, because the ultimate goal for us is that there should always be a man in our
Thank
lives. We
you.
cannot survive. We can't, we're supposedly not. I mean, there's something wrong with us if we don't have a man in our lives. So that's my assertion on this. And going
Okay,
back to
thank
what
you
Mr.
very
H,
much.
real quick, going back to what Mr. H said, when you asked about should everyone have women get married and have kids, he was only speaking for a man's perspective. Like, there are women
Bye.
who want to, like, there are lots of women who have no desire for kids, who have no desire for marriage. I know many women. My husband's aunt, his dad's sister, she's never been married, never had kids, never desired any of them. She dotes on her grandnieces. When Mike was a kid, he used to tell how what she does with my kids now is the same thing she did with them. But she had no desire to ever get married on her own and have her own kids. And she's totally happy and delightful. Yeah.
You're so right. My landlady, one of my landladies, because I had to, one of my landladies, when I said to her, at her sister's wedding, I was like, oh, so you're next? She was like, no, I'd rather have a horse. And she actually went and bought a horse. And she was like, I have no desire to have children. No, thank you.
Apostle, we
I'm
hear of
happy
this.
to have for other people to have them. Like, and again, she loves her sister's kids so much, but that's the extent of love she has. She has no interest in having children. She wanted a horse. She went and bought a horse. That's her kid. And I know some other women who they'll rather have animals than have children, and they're happy, and that's their choice. They actually choose that. They're
That's the
fertile.
topic
They
for
can have children. Yeah, so no, we're just going back to that. What Mr. H said, that that maybe for men. So we're just saying that also for some women have no interest in being married or having children. So Bumi, why does infidelity hit so differently between the sexes? Why this, like, yeah, my wife on the outside? Oh my God, somebody give me that. Why? And then when is the woman, they'll be like, down, this made their babies.
Stop
Their
trying
babies,
to
they
prime
can't
him.
help
You are
themselves.
just trying to prime her.
I'm like, if I was a
Trying
man,
to
I'll be
prime
so
him.
upset, because the way that society even describes men sometimes is so insulting. Like, men don't have any sense in their head. Men, once they see a woman, all their brain shifts down to their blockers. They can't think again. I'm like, wow, I would be so annoyed that really, that's how far you think I'm senseless. But I'm not a man, so what do I know? So Bumi, Bumi is smiling because she's like, where do I start to butcher this thing from?
Actually, you women are not gonna like one of the things I have to say.
I'm sure I have a feeling that I'm not going to like what you're going to say.
Because the reality is that fidelity is a bigger sacrifice for men than it is for women. That's just a fact women don't like to hear, but it's a reality. It's harder for them to be faithful than it is for women. And we can debate that if you want. However, I agree with Candy and with Abby. The idea that men are hurt more by fidelity is a lie. They're hurt less. They understand that fall better than we do because they're very sexual. A man can love his wife and happily fuck like other women. Now, some women can do this, but it doesn't come naturally. naturally to us. When we're emotionally involved with a guy, we really don't want to fuck someone else. These are just facts. There are differences between men and women, and we have to stop seeing these differences as some sort of lack of equality. No, we need equity, not equality, or however you say that. So when men say that this idea that it hurts them more, I think it's nonsense. It's rubbish. It's just them using 419 on us to deter us from cheating on them. It doesn't hurt them more.
Like that has stopped any
big
woman.
fat lie. If anything, they get it more than anyone because they can have sex and it can have nothing to do with feelings. They know that. They know that more than anyone.
I think it's not just the physical, it's not the physical, it's the emotional, like, wow, this woman, I don't have her mumu button anymore. You know, because men know that when they have their wives, they can do their mumu button thing.
And it's spot on. It's absolutely true. That part where they try to make her like, you cheated on me, men can't take it, go. It's all about possession, it's all about control, it's nonsense, it's complete nonsense. They can take it. They forgive more than women say. They just know how to lie and pretend. So you won't do it to them, you know. But and another thing I'll say is that monogamy is not natural for either sex, by the way. It's not natural for men or women to happily be turned on by one person for 50 years. It's just that women can tolerate it more than men, you know. But it's not natural for either couple. So when Mr. H says things like it's about self-control, it's about contentment, I don't agree. I don't believe in doing things that go against biology because you will fail. It's not natural. So you have to mitigate these things. And if you're in a long-term relationship, you have to be aware of that. There, I agree with Mr. H, where you have to do other things to make the sex interesting. And as somebody who was married for a long time, there is actually there's some type of sex in long-term relationships that can be very, very satisfying for both men and women. I don't see a lot of that shit in Nigeria, though. And that's why men in Nigeria cheat so much, because there's less consequences for them. They never try to find that kind of sexual fulfillment in a long-term relationship. They just run out and cheat because they know that they will be forgiven. And they miss out on a totally, completely different kind of sex, which can be very, very fulfilling and very satisfying for couples in long-term relationships.
But when we also have dramatic preachers coming up and saying, if you do any position other than missionary,
but you must stay in that marriage for 50, 60, 70 years.
Doing missionary. Jesus.
Exactly, that's setting yourself up for failure.
If you do cow girl, it means that you're letting the woman take your glory. If you do wheelbarrow, it means that you're telling the woman to
hellfire straight, like Mommy G.
Hellfire. Okay, consequence.
Position is hellfire.
Okay, before this show becomes blocked on YouTube, consequence. What are your thoughts?
I'll let it go while I'm there.
Sorry, what did you say?
I think I'll let Sister Buki take it for now while
okay. Well, he's handing over to you, so you go on, and then consequence will come back and say something.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, so nice to see you. You're first timer, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Hi, first timer. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Well,
and it's a good one.
I'm very aware of the responsibility that men are supposed to hold in our society and in our homes. And I think for far too long, men have been encouraged in the thinking that it's okay for them to do some certain things. And like, you know, Sister Bumi said, especially in Nigerian society, there's no consequence for the things that they do. And having said that, a man is supposed to be the foundation that the house stands on. And when they cheat the way that they do, they destroy the home. And we need to get back to conversations where we say to men, you know, regardless of what your biology is telling you, you need to pay more attention to your responsibility, what your family needs, what your wife needs, you know, whether monogamy is a natural state or not. Once you enter into a situation where you give your word and you make a promise, it's important that you stand to it, stand up to it, because that is what defines you as a man, is your ability to keep your word and do what you have
Mhm.
said, not just, you know, at the first slight of temptation, you are giving in, and then you lean on the excuse that, oh, it's the way men are wired. That's nonsense. You know, biology does not control your ability to think. It should not do that. You know, your brain is the stronger, you know, element in who you
Agree.
are. And men do what they want to do. Women do what they want to do because they want to do it, not because they're driven by any, you know, innate need to do anything else. And as to the question as to why it hits differently, it's because men are men delude themselves into thinking that women don't have sexual needs and desires the way they do, that women, you know, are not enticed and attracted, you know. So because once we enter into wifedom, we're expected to settle down to being housewives and mothers, and we are the sacred cows. And so therefore the idea of us cheating is, you know, it's unpalatable, you know, again, because the narrative is men can do what they want, and but women can't. So that's why it hurts them a lot more, I think.
Okay, I want to ask a question. I'm trying to think of so for a long time, religious bodies have been telling men and women, oh, infidelity in any way, shape, or form is wrong, is against God, blah, blah, blah. This has been on from time immemorial, as they say. It's been there for a very, very long time. This conversation from the pulpit, even on the day of the wedding, that people do weddings and all that, they will tell them, you know, part of the vows is, and to you alone I will cleave, like forsaking all others. And they repeat this. And in fact, there was a video I watched recently where the vicar was friends started falling apart laughing because it was almost like we know our guy. There's no forsaking nothing. In fact, we are sure that in this church right now, there are several of his honeys sitting down waiting for him to finish. We've heard of so many instances where on the wedding day, the man will go and sleep with the bridesmaids after the wedding is over. It's being repeated over and over from the pulpit. And yet, when the man gets married and goes and cheats, is usually again the same pulpit that will now force the woman into a state of infidelity.
Is it me or does she keep freezing?
And then
It's a network. She's freezing.
it is no longer
Abby, village people, oh,
alternative.
Abby,
Can you hear?
village people.
Sorry, can you hear me?
You keep
No, you've
breaking
been
up.
They're
freezing.
breaking up.
Oh, oh, I'm breaking up. Sorry, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what was happening there. I don't know what's happening there. Just bear with me. Let
Keep
me try
going.
and
Keep going.
uh-huh. So I'm just trying to double up the internet so that either way it's caught up and so can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Just keep talking.
Uh-huh. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, so you hear things like, oh, you know, now the focus is no longer on the guy, is now on the woman to make sure that she stays in the home, she doesn't break up the home, she doesn't vex and leave, and it doesn't matter whether she has children or not. So it's not always the case of, oh, think about the children. It's like, if you leave, okay, if you leave him because he's cheating on you, how sure are you that the next man you're going to go and meet won't cheat on you? Which is such a crazy way of trying to make someone stay in my own head. So because I'm afraid of the future, I'll now stay with a shitty present. But okay, that's my own thoughts. Anyways, so and that focus is on that. Say, hey, you have to pray for your husband. I sent Ron a video just before we started the show of a church service where women were told to hold their husbands to their bosoms and pray for them that they will not see side chicks, that the side chick will be smelling to them, and everything. And then the women were praying and praying and praying. And then after they finished, what?
Sorry.
What? What? You don't forget.
You're welcome, sir.
PK, you need to warn your boy to stop interrupting me when I'm talking because he wants to welcome you.
Next time I'll just wait. I'll wait till you're finished. I apologize. I apologize.
Well, it's like both of you, I'm going to come and bite the two of you. So, anyways, so it's that thing of why is it then that same church that is saying, oh, infidelity and everything, instead of focusing on the man, focuses on the woman to make sure that she doesn't then walk out and say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not interested in this. You will see women who they're like, Pastor, he sleeps with everything in skirts. He brings home a woman to the home and they'll still be like, hey, pray, do this 7 days fasting, 14 days fasting. Really? So because you're talking about we should shift the conversation, but I'm saying this conversation has always been there and it's had no effect.
Well, I don't think so. I think both, women especially have allowed men to do the things that they do. And staying in a situation where you're being cheated on is allowing the man to do what he wants to do. In the first instance, it's better to make sure that you've properly vetted who you're going into a lifelong relationship with. We don't do that because people marry for various, different, reasons. But church in Nigeria is a huge contributing factor to a lot of the problems that the people have. And they go wrong because they don't know the word of God for themselves, and they go to church looking to pastor as the alpha and the omega of everything concerning God. And they are human beings just like they are, but
so
I don't agree.
Sorry, hold on, Bumi. Everyone that is vetted, so you spend time, you vet your partner and everything. You say, wait, Bumi, wait. You vet a man, he becomes a pastor. You are thinking, I'm married to a pastor, and he still cheats. There are many pastors that we know that have cheated, and they are heads of massive churches that have massive ministry, and they still cheat. So at the end of the day, it's still this humanity in them that still goes out in spite of all the spirituality that they attach to themselves. They still, you can say, oh, it was a mistake. I didn't know how it happened. Your trousers dropped, your dick got hard, everything you entered, you came out, and somehow you didn't know how it happened.
But the narrative, like, the narrative that we hear is always the negative narrative about the African man. And, we always hear, we don't hear about the good African men that stand by their wives, because influence is something that spreads, influence, and it is something that, like an energy, enthusiasm can affect ideologies and influence it as it spreads to other people. And the more we hear that this is what is happening, the more people are likely to think, okay, well, this is okay, it's happening, let me join and do it as well. And as I said, men have been allowed to get away with it for a very long time. Some guys will know that their friends are cheating on their wives, and they will.
Natural for either couple. So we have created.
Let her finish.
Shabi, I asked you to speak before you didn't have. Okay, never mind.
No vex. No, the thing is
I
this.
do believe
When I
Yeah,
was
so
that if you
speaking,
take your
but
time
it's
and you get
okay.
to know
It's okay.
somebody, you know who you're dealing with. That's not to say that you're not going to have problems, but if you find somebody that is honorable and is somebody that can stand on their word, by their word, then they won't cheat on you. It won't be necessary because you'll be able to communicate and sort out your problems. But the question is the connection in the first place.
okay, to be clear though, when I'm talking about men, I'm not talking about Nigerian men or African men. I'm talking men in general. So I'm known to be the United Nations men tester. So
Yeah, but you know, this, you know, all men cheat, but Nigerian men seem to have a very big reputation for it.
Because
because
they're
again
open
now
about
they're
it.
very, very proud of
They're
it.
open about it, yeah.
Look,
No,
Okay,
when
About
we've
before
lost
we
all
go on,
moral,
before
when
we
we've
go on, I
lost
want
all
to
moral
quickly,
as
before we go on,
societies,
I want
oh my
to.
God, no, that is so unfair. Let's
we've lost all
first of
moral
all,
compass in our societies. This is why we're
it's not,
having these
no,
kinds
no,
of
that is actually
conversations,
kind of,
because there's no
it's not
moral
that Nigerian men
compass.
don't
There's
have a
no
moral compass. It's not that the Nigerian men don't have a moral compass. That's really derogatory and completely untrue.
There's no
This
moral
generation
compass in society. That is why all these things happen,
that's complete
because
nonsense. If you,
people don't know how
can
to
I
be
speak?
good to
Can
each
I
other.
speak? If
Just be a
if
nice
you,
person is difficult.
can
I don't
I
agree with that.
respond? Can I respond now?
Okay,
We have
before
to be
you do,
honest
Bumi,
about
can I
that.
just quickly point out
I have shit to do as well. If you guys
Zainab
don't want to hear
Bata.
me, I can go.
Wait,
No,
Abby,
no,
why don't
no.
you?
I said wait. I just want to quickly mention the people that put comments so that it won't be like we're neglecting them. Just wait now. I said you are coming on next. Hold on, please. So Zainab Bata, hi, thank you for joining us. Princess Monica, thank you. You're not too late. You've joined us at the right time. Pulling up LSRP, you're also not too late. So now let's get to Bumi. Bumi, please respond.
We all agreed monogamy is unnatural, and then we jumped into this liberal talking points that completely disregards that we're coming from this place. We've already agreed monogamy is unnatural. Because if we're not starting from that place, we're all on different pages right now. Are we not in agreement that monogamy is unnatural for both men and women? Isn't that where we're starting from? So what's all
Yes.
this? Oh, it's morality. It's how good of a man that you are. Blah blah blah. And
It's
then we're
my opinion.
complaining societies at the
It's
same
my
time.
opinion,
Hold on,
and I'm
I'm talking
entitled
now. I'm
to it.
talking now. Let me finish. Nigerian men. This is literally the first generation of monogamists. Most of their fathers were polygamists. That shit is not going to change in one generation. It is not, and it is not. It doesn't mean that they're morally more compromised than any other man. That's actually really rude and very
Well, you
derogatory
didn't.
about
If you
all
had let
fucking
me finish
country of
what I was
people.
saying, then
I'm
you
still
probably hear
talking.
what
I'm
I'm
still
saying.
talking. I'm
You
still
know,
talking. And the proof that monogamy is unnatural is that Ashley Madison
monogamy is not
scandal. That
unnatural.
Ashley Madison
It's
scandal.
a
Did you
very
hear about
bad
the Ashley
concept to
Madison scandal?
promote.
That was Western
Sister
men
Bookie, let's
owning a.
just.
I'm still talking. When you people were talking, I was very quiet. So that
No,
I
I
don't want
said
to
Sister
abuse.
Bookie. I didn't say
You let
you.
me
I
rest
said
my
Sister
voice. I will
Bookie.
go away. When I'm talking, let me talk, please. That Ashley
I said
Madison.
Sister Bookie.
Abby, honestly, I don't want to be shouting. I don't want to be
No,
shouting.
I
If you
said
want to hear
Sister
what I have
Bookie.
to
I
say, I'll
didn't
shut
say
up.
you. I didn't say you. I said Sister Bookie should hold on. That's what I said. I said Sister Bookie, hold on.
I
So that you
can't
would
hear.
finish.
It is a complete lie that white men are more monogamous. Their society has more consequences for monogamy. That is why they're more monogamous. They will lose half their shit. They will be discredited. I'm not saying we shouldn't do these things, but I'm saying we should start from the truth. If we agree that monogamy is not true, and we have countries where they have more consequences and more experience doing it, and then you decide that a group of other people are not able to because they're somehow morally inferior, that's just nonsense. It's nonsense. We have to admit this is not normal. It is not natural, and we're doing our best to work with what we have. Talking about consequences for cheating and how to make sex exciting in a long-term relationship and all this stuff. We can talk about those things, but we cannot talk about them as if that's the normal. No, it is us trying to make the best of a bad situation. It is human beings being placed in a situation that is unnatural for them and trying to do the best that they can. But a lot of women are just so insecure about being cheated on. It's too much. Then you say, well, let's make a difference between a woman who is being humiliated, who's being cheated on publicly. Everybody knows her husband is a dog in the not showing any concern for his family, for her feelings, for his own damn self, and she still takes him back. That's completely different from a woman who decides that, you know what, he made a mistake, I know he's invested in me and this family, I'm just going to move on. It's a completely different thing. And you cannot look down on that woman and tell me that you're a better woman and she just didn't think things through and she should have checked out. Like, this is nonsense. This is liberal, Western liberal fucking nonsense. And it does not make such women better. In fact, that's why this divorce rates are so high and people are so unhappy. And what about the fucking children? Like, these days it's now so unpopular to even think about the children at all. Like, they don't even matter. Oh, it's my feelings, I'm her, I'm blah blah blah, because your man slept with somebody else. That's the thing you want to die on top of. It's not different if he's disrespecting you. It's different if he doesn't give a shit. It's different if he will leave you if you did the same thing. But that's not the case. I feel like there's a fine line between the way the West sees this and the reality, the science, and the truth. And the fact that marriage is so much bigger than two people in love, especially once you have kids. And that's the thing that we need to grow up and understand. Like, this is, once you marry someone and you have children, it is no longer just about you and your feelings. It is just so much bigger than that. Now, am I saying that men don't use this as an excuse to take the piss? All the time, and they should be called up. They should be called out about it. But that doesn't mean that every time a man cheats, they're just useless people trying to take advantage, and they should be able to. It's a brain thing, and you brain over body. Really, who wants to do that? Who wants to bet on willpower as opposed to biology? That's stupid. That's how you fail. That's like saying, oh, sex before marriage is a sin. Don't get married. Don't have sex until you will fail, because biologically it's almost fucking impossible. You cannot go against nature. Anytime you create laws that go against nature, people get hurt, bad things happen, and that's why infidelity is so rampant and people are so hurt, because it is essentially going against nature. And it's not natural for us to just want one person for 30, 40, 50 years. That shit is going to take a concerted effort and a lot of patience and forgiveness.
Okay. Now, first, I want to make very, very clear. Everybody's view is welcome and everybody's opinion is respected. Whether we agree together or we don't agree, it's all respected. So no one should, because I don't know where Sister Bookie's gone, but I don't want anyone to be feeling like their own view doesn't matter. It's only one person's view that matters. No, I'm not saying you. I said Sister Bookie. I didn't say you, Boomy. I said Bookie. I didn't say you. I'm saying that I don't know why she's gone, but in case she was feeling like maybe her own opinion didn't matter, that is not the case. That's not the case. We are all friends here. We argue passionately, but we are all friends here. Okay, so the question I want to ask, and then I'm going to ask Kayode, because Kayode is having a field day laughing, so I'm going to call him on. So the question I want to ask here is, okay, if we are saying that is a function of biology and this and that. Now, because someone posted something today, I was like, women, and again, when I say the genders, I really don't like to focus on just like African men. Of course, there's some things that is like very pertinent to us, but I think that infidelity is a much bigger thing than an African man. You know, it's, yes, culture comes into play and all of that, but it's much bigger than that. You know, and we have where we will see things like, oh, women can't sleep with men indiscriminately. They have to have love. They have to have emotion. They have to have one thing. Then, if that's the case, where do we put prostitutes? Prostitutes who have several customers in a day, and they service them.
Abby, that's a good question, and I'm the one that said that. So can I defend myself? I'm not saying we can't do it. We can do it. We just don't do it at the rate at which men do it. That's
a job. That's a job.
Oh, okay. Hazard, occupational hazard. Okay, fine. So Kayode, why are you widening your eyes?
Wait. What was the question? What is the question you asked now? Yeah, you want me to answer the question on prostitutes?
No, Bumi has answered the question. Well, I was asking about where do we put prostitution when we are talking about women when funny enough, I was actually saying it was someone else who put out a post saying that women can't have sex unless there's emotion, there's
No,
click of emotion.
that's
And
nonsense.
I just said I can debunk these statements with just one word, and I put prostitutes.
Oh, the married women who basically have sex outside of their marriage, there's usually a gap. There's some disconnect. The guy is not available. That's usually what happens.
Yeah, they're unhappy, they're lonely.
Yes.
Shit.
Most times, a married woman will not basically say, "Oh my goodness, look at that guy. I want some." It is guys. It is guys that are always wired like that. The moment he steps out of the house, the very first person he sees, his mind is always, because men are physical. What they see is the physical attributes first. Before
That
they
statement annoys me to no
but
end.
that's the reality. That's just how men.
I said it earlier.
So I can speak from the angle
So
of
we
a man.
are blind. We don't see.
It's just
hell?
the way a man is wired. The way a man is wired, he sees first of all physical attributes. It's standard, almost standard across the world, actually. If I can, but I can't speak for all men. I can speak for African men, because at least I know how me and my generations are wired. It's physical. Now, there are a few men, actually not a few. Again, I can't speak for all. The moment the woman opens her mouth to speak, right, some of that whole fineness starts disappearing. And so at that point in time, a man starts to decide whether all he wants is sex or whether he wants a relationship with the woman. That's how a man is wired. The more he speaks, the more he determines whether he wants a relationship or whether he wants just sex. But it's the physical that first gets him through the first gate. Right? Now, for all these other things you're talking about, infidelity, cheating, it comes from a mindset that when people start to think they own another human being, is when they start to think that human being basically is subject to them completely. Your phone, where you've been, where you're at, what you are doing, all that stuff. Now, in the African culture, just like Bumi is saying, it has always been unnatural that one man will have only one wife. Right? This thing, again, like she said,
even for women, very few women in African culture just slept with one man their whole life. Sorry.
That is also correct, because again, I've given an example on this show before how my grandfather was a trial for some women who ended up marrying him. They were not pregnant where they were. It was a thing of shame. They tried somebody else. You see, and I said it before, when they tell these stories, they make that part very fast. Oh, the guy got him pregnant, then they married him. They don't, then you have to actually pause now and now say, wait a minute, what exactly happened? The trial, the decision to try, where did they meet? There were no hotels there. There was some real James Bond thing going on in those days, right?
Yeah, people will be shocked at some of the shit going on in Africa. There's
all the time.
One guy that used to disvirgin women before they give them to their husbands. All this shit came, all this puritanicalness, it came from religion, it came from Islam.
Yeah. So
the thing again
there are
is,
also some
sorry,
cultures.
Kayode,
There are also some
there's
cultures.
something.
Shebi, I own the floor.
Wait, I want to buttress your point. Although this is not an African one.
I did not interrupt you when it was your floor. Now me get floor.
Wait, now I'm actually buttressing your point.
No, do not buttress for me. If I need a buttresser, I'll call you to bring in your board. So, as I was saying,
now me be moderator. I feel block you now.
Yes, but now you give me the floor. Do not come and take it from me. If I need a buttresser, I'll bring your butt in. And you buttress it. So you said buttress now. I'm just using buttress. So anyway, what was I saying now? My father's generation are the ones that basically started the problem when they accepted education and religion and started to do away with culture. Right? This generation is now beginning to ask that it should have been like you take what is good there and add to yours, not that you throw away yours completely and then basically adopt the other guy's stuff. The guy has problems. Have you ever seen any of the countries that invaded another country? Did any of them have good weather? No. It's people who don't have sunshine and are half depressed most of the time that got on a ship, went to somewhere else to go and conquer them. Check around the whole world. No other country that has enough sunshine ever got on a boat to go to another person's land to take over the land.
That is so true.
So they brought all their stuff that no, you guys don't know how to live there. In the place where we're drinking our coconut water, playing music
and chilling,
and chilling, right? They came and started telling us about retirement plans, 401k. Now we're walking like crazy people, running crazy so that you can have enough, so that you can actually live like you should have been living right from the time you were born if they did not come and disturb our lives. But let's not even go there, because part of what came with it is, in quote, education, which is my grandfather's ways are crazy. Their ways are the best. Now they brought with it that whole thing that was not working for them. It's part of their frustration that made them get on a boat to get far away from whatever problems they were, that they now came to my own place and then basically came and told me that my grandfather is not happy with his 8 wives and 22 kids. Then they came with this narrative that is because of farm. My grandfather never farmed. He was a businessman. He was the first to put a gas station in Ogbomoso. He was a Oshomalo cloth. They sell cloth. At the point in time, he was a cocoa merchant, right? But he still had 8 wives and 22 kids, surviving kids, and they were happy. And when one passed on, the other women took over the responsibilities of raising the kids of the one that passed on. Right? Yes, they had their problems. That's usually what the Western education also says. Well, they had problems. Then you brought your system that doesn't have problems. Yeah, right. Now people are very unhappy. People are sad, right? And running crazy.
Everybody's on Prozac.
Can I say something to
the educational?
I was not allowed to butcher, so you can't say. Oh.
No, I can allow Bumi in. She bought me expensive food one time like that. It's my flaw. It's my flaw. I can bring anybody in and I can bring anybody out until I hand over the mic. So
okay.
As I was saying, actually, if you think about it, right, it's actually this from maybe my father's generation, now more my generation, because they've seen monogamy for the first time, right, and have been educated. Suddenly, they were also educated that if the guy now basically talks to another woman, they should become very upset, very angry. Our mothers, hardly did any of our mothers' generation actually divorce their husband because he had a girlfriend, and almost all of them had.
That's what breaks my heart, the powerlessness
right?
of African women now.
Almost all of them had, right? My father's generation, it was so unnatural for them that almost all of them had. The one who didn't have was the laughing stock of his mates when they got together to drink beer, right? And sooner or later, actually, he realized that he could not survive well. Now, there are some that, again, it's never all. I'm just talking of how it comes down. So now you have a lot of women who have been trained, educated, that you should get very upset because your guy basically stepped out. Stepped out means he has a girlfriend. Let's state it clearly. But guess what? Our mother's generation, you know what they do to such our generation females when they come with those kind of stories? They'll sit her down. Wait, what is wrong with you? Is he paying bills? Yes. Are you still going? Is he taking care of the house? Yes. So the only problem right now is that sometimes he comes home late. Then they'll tell you, you better keep keep quiet and just continue this thing. We think that that's bad advice, right? But in so doing, they have saved a lot of people from basically blowing everything up. So what is going on now is that there is no perfection anywhere. When you take this whole the guy should be naturally chained to one person throughout, contracted to somebody throughout, and should never step out. And that when he does step out, because now we're not even allowing any kind of mistake whatsoever. Basically, once he steps out, blow everything up. Otherwise, you are completely stupid. That's narrative now, right? So somewhere in between there, if you are going to take the thing, accept fully what was brought to you and forced on you, then please accept also with it the problems that come with it. So now we're looking for a solution for something that was a problem long before it came to us. And we're hoping that somehow with us it will be different. And then when it now turns out that, oh my goodness, these African men are not like we thought the other men who have been having the same problem are. It's like, oh, you African men are the ones who are uniquely different. No, the problem is everywhere. That's all I have to say. Problem is everywhere. Once you accept a solution, accept with the problems.
Okay, well, what I wanted to say, Bumi, what I wanted to say was that I was reading an article today about a man who was a milkman in the 70s, 80s, and apparently DNA has actually shown that he has over 800 children in the Midwestern states of America, because that's where a lot of military men were living, and they would go off to war or to their station or whatever, and then while they were away, this milkman, who was rumored to be tall, handsome, everything, was not only delivering milk but also delivering cream. So next thing, plenty of children were born, because someone was trying to say that that if a woman cheats on her man, she's ready to kill him, and they said over 800 children. So some women had more than one child for him. They didn't kill their husband. They just programmed their husband's arrival together with the time that they are sleeping with him and having children. And it was the children who were doing all these recent DNA kits that found out that, hey, I am having like 200 siblings and the common denominator is a father. And they reached out to the FBI, and it was the FBI that actually helped them to unlock the mystery of this milkman, who was their collective father, over 800 children. So imagine how many women were gallantly stepping out on their husbands.
No, they were solving their problems.
This is the reality of the ancient times, honestly. You see, marriage was not seen the way it's seen today, where it's all about romance. It was a much more
transactional
practical issue. It was a matter of life and death, and money and feeding families and all this stuff. And women, I was arguing this last week, women are the natural leaders. They were. And so they weren't really concerned by this stuff because they had things to do. We saw this thing where I said that that fidelity is more of a sacrifice to men than it is to women. We saw that as a weakness. We saw the fact that men are the mercy of their dicks as a weakness that made us stronger than them, made us more reliable than them, made us the natural ones to be in charge. But capitalism and imperialism has just flipped all this shit on its head. Now we are jealous of the weaker people in this whole equation. It's crazy, but the matter is long. It's all about capitalism and Western imperialism and all this stuff. But I really wish women would get their power back. And it's a lie that African women were just with one guy, or that they didn't care about sex. They did. It's just that they were so sensible, especially because we knew as women that the consequences for not making sure that your shit was correct is worse for us than it is for men. That's just the reality. That's how we're made. Women only have a certain amount window in which they can reproduce, right? So they can't afford to get it wrong. They have to get it right. They have to reproduce. They have to be able to make sure that they can take care of those children, because once they hit their 50s, that's it. It's over for them. A man can fuck up. He can get it wrong a million. They can keep having children till he's in his 80s. So women thought differently. Women were and today women resent that. Women feel like, oh, we mollycoddle men. We treat them like children. We forgive them for things and running around. And I understand that resentment, because we have given them the power, and at the same time we're treating them like children. That's really annoying. Like they've taken the power that we used to have, and they don't know how to act. So it gets frustrating. I understand that. But we women, especially Black women, we have to understand that the solution isn't to try to be like men. No, it's to get our own power back and to understand all the advantages that we have. I enjoy sex as much as any man, but I know that my need and desire for it is not as urgent as theirs. But I don't see that as something, and this is a part of the horrible hip hop culture as well, and the misogynistic culture that the West is giving to us, which glamorizes loving sex, which makes it feel like if you're a prude, that's the worst thing that you can be in the world. If you're asexual, that's the worst thing you can be in the world. You have to love sex like a nymphomaniac, and no woman wants to be caught looking like she doesn't love sex. What the fuck is all that? To love sex too much is a fucking weakness. You know how many men have ruined their lives because they can't keep their dick in their pants? People really want that problem? Do you really want that problem?
But that's R&B, not hip hop. That's R&B.
No, it's hip hop. It's
Okay,
hip hop culture.
no,
It's
it doesn't
R&B.
matter whether it's
Hip-hop
R&B, whether
culture.
it's hip hop. Mr. H, I want to ask you a question. Okay, so we're talking. Kayode, first of all, you said that they said the story is fake. Well, I'm more inclined to believe it because I saw a video of a guy, and is a real life guy right now, who has been going around the world donating his sperm, and he has over 1,000 kids from donated sperm. Now think about this one is doing his own by donation, but this is a milkman who went and I don't see it as something strange. I don't see it as a strange story. I don't see it as something that is unbelievable because
How can it
imagine
not be
military.
strange? What planet do you come from?
What?
How can that be strange? Where do you come from?
How
You
is
don't
it
find
strange?
it.
Remember,
It's not
What's
strange.
strange about it?
remember that there are many stories here. In fact, in the West, when you talk of the milkman,
There's
it's
nothing strange
always
about it that
it's
women have
always
prolonged
around the story.
a
So
period
it
of
is almost
there's nothing
the
strange
way
about it.
the way we talk about African men having girlfriends, always having more than one woman, is the same way in the West. There was always the story of the milkman, where women who were suburban women who were stay-at-home moms basically had fantasies about the milkman. He was
Or
and
the pool boy. The pool boy.
and
Or
the
the
pool boy.
postman.
So understand the fact
That
that
was
they got
fun.
together. Some of them got together,
This
drank
was
tea,
before porn.
like let's meet for tea, and all they are discussing is the milkman and the post guy and whoever they were able to score.
Tea
Right?
meaning wine.
All those
Exactly.
meetings.
And
This
you
was
know
how
that women actually do fuckability score. So one person that bangs him goes, "Damn, he good." Oh, really? Then the
so
next
they
one is like,
recommend.
"Okay,
Want to try?
They recommend. Yes, they recommend.
recommendation." So why are you
Yes.
talking as if it's strange? It's not
So
strange.
if the milkman was by any chance somebody who knew what he was doing, then he had a lot of referrals. I won't be
Yeah.
surprised if that guy got paid, if he made a lot of money from doing this. So all we're talking about is actually the possibility of a male, is it males, right? A gigolo,
Yeah.
who was also delivering milk. That's all.
You know, he
And
was
that's
delivering
Guys.
milk and cream.
that
Praise the Lord.
that's what he was doing. But that tells
So,
you
Mr. H,
that
Yeah.
in our own generation too. Sorry, Mr. H. For our grandmothers, those grandmothers, I've always asked, why do they have that ilekedi, which is waist beads? Why do they have waist beads if nothing was going on in their generation? See, so we had our own problems. Why do they have something in Yoruba land they call magnum? Right?
exactly.
Which is
If the women were so chaste.
which is an electronic technology for locking up the possibility of a woman stepping out. Again, that is still part of control. I'm saying that we had our own problems. I'm not saying we didn't have our own problems. But the reason why they were coming up with that solution tells you that there are many other things that were going on. Right?
So again, that goes back to the whole thing of, was it again this thing about hitting differently? Because if it's a natural reaction, we're all just answering to our biology, and hey, there was a position of power and now we're giving it away and everything, and yet we're also agreeing that
we didn't give it away, they took it.
A man is still the easiest.
taken.
Up till date, a man is still the most gullible. If you want to try, test it right now. Walk up to somebody, tell him that you are fully married with kids, but you are horny, and see how many people will agree to follow you to wherever you say let's go.
Yeah, for
If you
real.
just go and try it. I'm serious. That's how easy it is.
In fact,
You will see.
there was something that was
Yeah, he's
done
right
as
though.
a
He's right.
social
It
media prank
works. It
recently.
still works till date. It's not just a prank. Go and try it right
There was
now.
something
Step
that was
out of
done
the
as a
house.
social
Tell
media prank
somebody, I am
where they would
pregnant,
tell a man,
I am married, and I'm horny. Right? Can you follow me somewhere now and see how many men will start to think that, okay,
Yeah, I swear to God.
how is this going to happen and I'm not going to get
He's
caught?
right.
Then reverse it and see how many women will basically respond.
Stop that
Men are
nonsense.
just so, when it comes to that, men are totally,
Weak.
it's a weakness.
Like
It is
they're
true. The
It is.
reality is that whether you accept
Absolutely.
it or not is a weakness. If it was not
yeah,
a
fucking hate,
weakness,
man.
the the person who has the most important office in the world will not be carried away by an intern. The person who has controls of a button that can wipe out the whole earth, right?
Yeah.
Could not think straight when he saw an intern, a
Thank you.
22-year-old
We
intern,
should not be in charge.
right?
so you see
Exactly.
why I'm saying that I'm not focusing on African men alone. It's a
It's all
general
men. It's a
problem.
general thing. A man,
Yeah.
It's
once
a
a man
general
has
problem.
anything, any human being that has a third leg is already weak with that third leg. That's why the third leg is shorter
Even
than the other
dogs,
two.
bro. Even dogs. Like I've seen
Oh,
dogs.
that's why they try and relate you to this. Once there's a third leg, it's already a weakness, right? So let's accept the fact that that's how it is. From there is where we're now trying to struggle. And then in the struggle, some will get 100%. Don't point to those and then say the remaining 99% of you should be like that 1%. Because you don't even know how that 1% got to be 100%. Maybe their libido was already low. So there was nothing again to struggle against. You cannot compare that with, you can't compare that with even all the way back to you're talking religion, right? You talk of the Bible. Well, they talked about the guy who was
Okay,
after God's
Kayode,
heart.
before you go on, Epitesi, wait, Kayode, before you go on, Epitesi says this Oga Kayode a bad guy. And then we have DJ Abbas. I don't know where he is at the moment, but he's right now on the platform. He's watching it. So, DJ Abbas, please try and link in with us so that we can hear your views, because I would love to hear what you've got to say. Okay, Kayode, continue. And then Edgar,
when
Mr.
you
H,
go
you'll
back,
come back later, but Edgar, I want to hear your point also.
even all the religious books, now I can't say all, I can speak for a few that I know. There was always a man and multiple wives. Maybe I don't know if there are any other religions where it was always one-to-one, or maybe there are a few that was one-to-one. But even okay, so I can talk about the one that I knew, right? That when we talk of we talk of David, right? You talk of David, it is the woman he committed adultery with that he killed the husband. That's the person who gave back to Solomon. The Solomon who became the wisest man. How many wives did he have? Then they now talk of concubines. So he had side chicks on top of 300 wives, right? On top of 300 wives. The guy went after 700 other side chicks. And this religion that we talk about, right, still now declares that he's the wisest man that ever lived. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. Yeah. Well, if we go towards religion, and again, I'm only speaking on one book that I know a little well, right? But
that thing has always baffled me.
So no, let's even leave that one, because not everybody's a Christian. But other religions is what I'm trying to say is that when I hear the stories of other religions, if there was anybody in that was married, most of the time, if you look through their books, you will see that there was always a scenario of multiple women.
Yeah, can I just say something? Well, thinking about it, because my brothers were talking about cults the other day, like David Koresh, Jim Jones. They also did that with women. They would say they had access to all the women.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't the other way around. You see?
No, it wasn't the other way around. They had access to all the women. They could sleep with any woman, anytime, whenever they wanted.
And then of course they now label them cults. Possibly not just because of all the other things, but particularly to make sure that
but if you are taking other men's women and saying only you can sleep with them, their own men too can sleep with them. Is a cult.
No. Well, so actually, I'm not even trying to label which one is right or wrong. We're just pulling out the fact that
if we can share everything, so we sleep with the cult leader, but we can also sleep with our own.
Let's not go off to that one. But women. So now the people who usually have a problem, at least from the African culture, are the neglected women. But even then, amongst the men understand that a guy is useless when he can't take care of the multiple women.
But the reason why the neglected women feel that way is because society tells women that once you are locked onto a man, the prospect and possibility, in fact, at a point in time, is that once you hit 45, your sexual drive should have died. You speak to some women and they'll be like, sex, what do I want to do with it? What do I need sex for? Hey, are you crazy? You know, and like I try to struggle. I try to comprehend things and I struggle with it because I'm like,
That's
why
because
do we have
Yeah,
some women
because the
who
solution to that is the
whose
milkman.
husbands
it's
The
simple.
were
solution to
philanderers?
that in the West was the milkman.
It's
Can
a
I hear
simple
what Abby's trying to
Wait
explanation.
say,
now, when you people are talking, I keep quiet. When I'm talking, you always find a reason to interrupt me. Remember now, stop this thing. So, as I was saying, thank you very much, Bumi. Thank you, Jare. It's you that is saving me from this man, though. So the thing is, how is it that we will make it out like, no, once you are with this man, it doesn't matter what, Sheba Bayi, let him do whatever he wants to do. Hey, he's sleeping with this, he's sleeping with that, let him. And he's like, oh, me, I'll focus on my children. How can your children replace your sexual drive? How? And that's when you start to hear some crazy stuff that we are not supposed to hear with our ears at all because of this replacement of the man of the house with the child of the house. And that is
No,
dangerous in its own way.
Wait,
Abby, you are
what?
missing
No,
a big
no, no,
chunk
no,
there.
no, no,
You are
no.
missing
Ah.
a big
This is
chunk.
what
You
I'm
see,
trying to.
Shori, you see Baba Mukaila, the
No,
driver.
that happens too, but
He's
it's
the
not
father of the
it's
last
not
born.
a
You just don't know.
what did you say? What did you
You know
say?
what? There's more truth to what he just said than he realizes.
I
And this
know.
is what this is what we need to understand and why polygamy was more natural initially. Women's need and desire for sex, it waxes and wanes depending on what they're going through in their life. You understand? When we hit puberty, we're horny as fuck. We want to experience things. That's why some of them even used to marry us off at 16, 17, 18. We actually are genuinely sexually curious at that point in time. And in the ancient times, it was a safe way for us to experience sex. But the minute we get pregnant and we're overloaded with the burdens of childcare, we lose
Responsibilities, yeah.
interest again. We
Yeah.
have shit to do. The baby's hanging from our boobs, one is on our back. We're just too damn busy and tired to even, we don't even feel desirable. Everything fucking
Yeah.
hurts. You know, we
Yep.
go through
Yeah.
things. And that shit
But
gets
this is
things
not
from
just
beginning.
women who have children, even women who don't.
Hold on, Abby. Almost all mothers are going to go through a
We
waxing and waning period. Unless a woman doesn't have children, then she might experience sexuality differently. But if a woman has children, she's going to go through that. She's going to have periods where she's not interested and periods where she's interested. That is why you have a million jokes that married men have about not getting any, but you don't have the same level of jokes from women. Are there any jokes about men having headaches when the woman wants sex? No, because it doesn't really happen the other way around. However, that doesn't mean that women don't get it back. They do. The minute those kids reach a different age again, the sex drive comes back again. They're freer, they're happier, they're more, they're having time, they've found themselves again. And sometimes by that time the man has lost interest, moved on. That's when what Kadi just said becomes true. That's when she starts fucking the guy, not fucking the driver. Nobody knows she's getting her rocks up. She's doing her thing.
Yeah, that is true. Because
Damn.
Okay, Edgar, is Edgar still there?
Get it, girl.
Edgar.
Yes.
And
Okay, so can you share your thoughts with us? Well, what do you think about this thing about infidelity between the genders?
Edgar,
To be
that looks
honest,
like he's just a sperm himself.
um,
The point is Edgar.
I mean, shit, I'm
Bumi,
eating
that's
right now,
not
but
fair.
look,
I'm saying he's so young.
Nítorí Ọlọ́run,
Edgar, how old are you?
Nítorí Ọlọ́run, Bùnmi.
I'm about to be
Edgar,
23.
leave it.
Nah,
23.
I'm 19. Shit,
Oh my god.
to be honest, like there are like huge differences, but it's hard to like think of one. But like the ones I'm going to like name right now, are really different
Mm-hmm.
from like the topic that like we're speaking, but like it's more about like advantages in the war. Like if you're a man and let's say that like you want to make music and you want to be famous, it's going to be easier for you to like get to that point because you got like most people would listen to like male like for example rappers or like male singers instead of female because females they listen to they can listen to females and men, but men they usually I think like the 70% mostly listen to males. So that's like a huge like difference that's going on in this world.
Okay. Okay. So Edgar's giving his thoughts. He's going in the way of hip hop, like you guys were talking about. Mr. H, can you
Yes.
expand a bit more, and then Enoka, please come and tell us your
What do you want me to
thoughts.
expand?
So I was talking about this whole thing of, sorry, my brain just froze there. This whole thing of women being, like, oh, the man is always doing whatever he wants to do. Me, I'm focusing on my children, Joe. I'm doing this and that and that, and it's like this whole asexuality. And yet, when they get to that prime, because this is the thing I wanted to point out what Bumi was saying, when they get to that prime age where they are done with the children. Now, this is because it's not every woman that has children. There are a lot of women who don't have children, but who have taken on maybe other people's kids, or they're even just by themselves, and they're still within that age range, still use the same what I want to do is sex. But we are seeing now that once you hit a certain age as a woman, your sexual drive is like almost reignited again. And yet we grew up seeing our mother saying, sex care, what do I need to do with it? And they'll sit down together, they'll go to party, they'll do this, they do that, but there is like sex. So how are we able to reconcile that with who we are now?
Yeah,
I hope
but
I'm
like,
making some kind of
yeah,
sense.
yeah, you making sense. Like what I said earlier on, like in the olden days, as what is obtainable then, it's not obtainable now. It's different now. The
What do
trend
you mean
is,
though?
the trend is different now because I get the point. Even our mothers then, you see, they want to focus on the kids for them to grow, the sacrifice, their home. Even then, even if the man cheats, then you see that the women of old, they will still be there because of maybe what the family will say. Okay, tobacco and lock, or wait, what would they say? Nobody will want you again. You're a second-hand person. It's a stereotype. That to just make women stay in marriage then. But now it's not like that anymore. You will see that women even of maybe 45, 50, 55, you see down that they are upping their game. They are calling themselves they're trying to say I'm sexy, I'm sexy and I love it, you know what I mean. Nobody wants to
They are
be
trying to say, or they are.
no, nobody want to take the back seat anymore. Nobody want to take the
Oh
back seat
gosh.
anymore.
Please
You
be
see
very,
some
very careful with
no,
your
no, honestly, even you see older women even dress nicer and they're more appealing than even the younger folks now.
Yeah.
Because now you can see that they catch up with
Edgar
you.
settle.
Yes, and to be honest about it, some guys love the older women. They love the older women because they say, oh, they are more experienced, they are more talented in, in this, it's not funny. But the reality is that the trend is not like of old. It's not like of old. The trend now is that everybody wants to taste a piece of the pie. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not like before that everybody, like, if you see some, like when I was growing up, when my mother got to a certain stage, you will never see her with any man. Even you wouldn't even hear it. We don't see it. We don't see it. They just stick to the man and the father alone, and that. Even the man dies, they will remarry. You know what? But nowadays, you see that the older women are not letting go. That is why you see older women getting younger to younger men. It's all around on Facebook. On Facebook, on in social media, you see 24 marrying 56, 56 marrying 28. Because now the older women now don't want to give up. They don't want to take the back set. Like if you see some the way they dress, you say no. Yeah, you know the people the old time is not like the new time now. So I'm going with what Kyle said earlier on. You can see now it's not like before. Everything is in a fast pace now, and everybody wants to jump in. Even if they've taken care of their children to a certain age, you see that the way the older men start dressing now, you look at them on the street, you say, wow, this one na mama. Oh. But you see the way, everybody's trying to
Wow.
package themselves. Let me
What
use
is
that term.
mama?
Everybody's trying to package themselves. Everybody's trying to package
Okay,
themselves.
before you continue, I want to read out some of the comments here. So if a test said, no, Timinino Silva said, for a man to say he has access to all women. All women are not the same, mind you. Then if a test said, please, which age? Then if a test also said, now the women of old put us for the one where we did so. Then Kayode wrote and said, side chicks are sometimes older women, which is true. Because this whole thing of, like I've not been a side chick, but I have dated younger men who, if you looked at the two of us, they looked older than me. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, and then Timinino Silva said, you see, in the African culture, a man is allowed to commit adultery, but a woman that tries it is labeled a whore. From my point of view, this is wrong, but what can women do?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
can you reread that?
Okay.
You see, Timinino Silva said, you see, in the African culture, a man is allowed to commit adultery, but a woman that tries it is labeled a whore. From my point of view, this is wrong, but what can women do?
Yeah, but that's what I said in the beginning when I started. Remember when I started that
Mm-hmm.
when women do this kind of thing, this kind of behavior, they are labeled this and that and that and that, like they don't fit in. But when men do it, it's okay. And what I said in the beginning was that it should be 50-50. If a man is not allowed to do it, a woman is not allowed to do it as well. Because when I was growing up, I actually, let me just give you a quick back. My name is Hamza. That's why I'm Sahid. And
Nice to meet you.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
I was a
alaikum.
I was a Muslim, and later I turned to be a Christian, and I started with the Jehovah Witness, then I saw the way we were brought up then, the way women were brought up then. And there was a sense of decency, there was a sense of discipline. You remember the first time I talked about discipline? If you are not, sometimes, yes, we are like, as Baraka already said just now, that women, we follow what we see. You see nice thing, that woman must chop. Sometimes it boils down on you being disciplined. You need to be disciplined, because if you're not disciplined, you get carried away, and if you continue to do your infidelity, you will mess up your marriage, your family. At the end of the day, you bring sickness into the house. So if you're not disciplined, then you lose your value. So what I'm saying is that if a woman is not allowed to do it, then a man is not allowed to do it as well. We must, both of
Okay,
us.
just before I bring, Enoka has gone. Okay, Candy, then Ron, because Ron has been quite silent, so I want Ron to come to this. Okay, is Enoka back? Okay, no, she's not. Okay, but this is the thing that I wanted. When you keep saying about, men are moved by what they see and women are. I have had conversations with single women. Now, not with married women, but single women, and there's this general consensus that most women. Okay, Enoka is back. Okay, so Enoka, you be next.
Wait,
Most
before she,
women.
sorry, want something happen. Please, if you are watching right now, please click the like and subscribe button to help our algorithm, because I see a lot of people watching, but there's no clicking going on. So click the like and
Producer
subscribe button.
things. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that's our producer speaking there. So this is the thing, right? Um, in my discussions with other single women, this is the general consensus. Now, of course, and when
I
I'm
think
saying
you're
this,
misunderstanding that point.
but let me just say what the consensus is first. The consensus is that most of the time, when we meet a man, we already know whether we want to sleep with him or not.
No, women,
Real?
women. Listen, if that
I'm
man
saying
opens
in
his
the,
mouth and sounds bush, women are turned off immediately. Whereas a man doesn't care. If he's just trying
Yeah.
to fuck, he only cares what you look like.
It's
Women
true.
care a lot how you talk, what you think, what kind of person you are. We cannot fuck an asshole. We just don't have it in us. So that's what it means. It doesn't mean that we too don't care
Preach
what
it,
they look like. Of
Swami.
course we care what they look
but
like.
a
It doesn't
lot
mean
of
that we
assholes
don't
still
get
get
wet
women
if
to
a guy
sleep with,
looks
don't
hot.
they?
It matters to us that he looks hot.
That's
He
all
also
the
Right.
matters
point.
to us
They're in
what
the
You're
he
right.
looks
You're
like
right.
and
minority.
who
A
he
lot of
is.
assholes.
Sure you get.
But a lot of assholes still have women who sleep with them, don't they?
Yes, but they're in the minority.
Because
And
every woman's idea of an
your
asshole
woman,
is different. Why a guy who's an
Aha.
asshole to me may not be an asshole to another woman. But very few of us can have sex with a man that we just don't like what he stands for, how he talks. Whereas men, they don't even care.
You know, I have to say, from experience, I have to say Bumi has a point, because I remember I was seeing this guy one time, and we went to the grocery. He had come spend the weekend at my apartment at the time, and we had gone to the grocery store, and this dude watched me lift everything up the stairs to my house and did not
Oh,
help
that's
me.
fucked
And
up.
And
that's
That's
after
it,
fucked
bro.
that,
It's
up.
turned off.
That's
That
fucked
was it.
up.
Where
That's
is
fucked
coming?
up.
Where
That's
is
crazy.
I could not wait to get him out of my house.
Why you don't think like this? We women are not like this. Why you act like
Oh my days. And rock off is his music. Okay, Enoka,
I'm serious.
please, can you contribute your thoughts to this? Why
yeah,
does infidelity hit differently? And I'm sure you've been hearing everything. So please tell us what you think.
Let me first of all start with why do you always refer to the days of old? Were you there? You know what was happening then? My great grandmother, mother to my maternal grandfather, had 3 husbands, married
At the
3
same
men.
time.
At the same time or
At the same
differently?
time.
10 times. She was never single.
Oh, so she fired them, then she married the next one.
No, the men used to die on her. The last one didn't die on her.
That's natural now. Then she
Fire!
No. Please, do not
The
take.
days of old,
Do not assume
and
they were
then
not.
take
They were
this.
not smart too. So strategy.
When men go in the days of old and then use the words like decency, excuse you. That a woman enjoys sex doesn't make her indecent.
Exactly.
At
We
all.
have this pressure that has been put on us, and I would always say this, you can disagree, it's religious based. That has said women should be this way, and if you're not that way, then you have an issue. I had a very long day today. When Ron sent the message earlier that we should meet, I had passed out. I was driving around Lagos. I didn't know how Lagos can. Well, during one of my long trips, I was talking to an ex-boyfriend of mine. And exactly what I think it was Abby that said it, when a woman has children, how she's distracted and all that, she's not interested in sex. He was saying to me that he took his wife to spend the weekend at Echo Hotel. That by day 3, the woman was running away from him because the children were not there and there was nothing else to do.
How can there be nothing to do?
No, you don't understand. He overstrapped and the woman was running away from him.
Abby, the reason why the man got to the hotel is so that he can pull her away from the distraction, which is the children.
Exactly. And then they overdid it, I guess.
She's so interwoven with the kids that she cannot actually be alone with the guy any longer, at least until her life changes again.
Isn't that a problem though? When your
it is the reason why side chicks will always exist.
Almost all the time in marriage.
It's the reason why side chicks will always exist. Let me tell you from the point of view.
And that's why side chicks take the space. It's the problem.
The temptation is high. So even the guy who wants to do straight and narrow, me, I used to be the straight and narrow. I actually feel foolish for it now. I really feel foolish. Yes, I do. Because That period is real. Let Apostle come here. I'll tell him myself. That period is a very tough period.
Lord.
It's a tough period because here's the woman who you have decided you'll be 100% invested in, who is now basically only 20% invested in you. For every kid that shows up, 50% of our investment in you basically goes towards that child, that son or daughter. In fact, when it's a son, it's double painful because is it this small boy that's taking away the wife of my youth? It's a very painful thing. No, I'm talking from a very painful point. Don't laugh at me right now. So, yeah, look, do you know how many times I got up and I went to the children's room that you cannot sleep in this room? Let them sleep in their own room. And there was only one reason why I was like, you cannot sleep in this room. It's because I was there, I was starving, and you are sleeping in another person's room. Which kind of nonsense is that? Are they the ones that married you, or am I the one that married you? Now, why I say I regret it is that, look, maybe I was just being too uptight. My other friends that had side stuff, they're still very happy now because they went out and settled themselves and everybody's happy. Look at me now. I'm now living my 20s and 30s at this stage.
Anyway, I still have points to make. Okay, Enuka, please continue because they interrupted you. Yes, you see, I started talking about my grandmother. I think she married twice. There's this thing about that when men talk about sex and decency, they feel that a woman who is sexually expressive is indecent. I'm the queen of all the indecent women in the world. The queen that is topping the list. I'm topping the list shamelessly.
You need to pay. There's no free adverts. You need to pay.
I know, yeah. Please advertise, Jare. We are behind you. Because when they're talking this thing, I'm like, I like this thing that they're talking about, so, and I'm very, very decent. What are you talking about? Why you talk about infidelity?
If you can stand up, this screen will explode. So don't just go there.
I beg
the full package.
Okay. Now, the issues I have when we talk about infidelity is men will say stuff like, oh, so much paternity fraud, this, that. Please, in Igbo land, in my own place, and yes, I always make reference to my beliefs. My tradition is that once you have paid bride price, the child is your own. Exactly. What? So it doesn't matter wherever they come from.
But that's wrong.
Doesn't matter. How is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
You can't be sleeping with other people, then bringing other children to
Please, can I continue? Hamza, hold on. Please, let me continue.
I have seen a guy that trained a child to 6 years old. Now they are telling him it's not his own. He went to do DNA. The guy is in the hospital now.
He's in the hospital now because he's in the hospital now because his ego is the problem.
Exactly.
My friend,
his problem is his ego. Oga, Mr. Hamza, let me finish. Let me finish. Who does the child call father? Who does the child call father? This is an issue. Parenting is not about biology. Exactly. If you love that child, you will not care. What he cares about is the fact that, oh, so maybe my sperm isn't viable. Oh, a whole me. Please. Can we start all this small dick energy? Thank you. Enough of small dick energy.
Are you aware that it's just women who think what? Are you aware that what you just said now? It's only women that reason that way.
Reason that way, how?
No. You think that way. You think a man will sit down, start another person's child will come into his house, then you find out, then you come and smoosh his head by telling him that, after all, he calls you father. If I want you to call me father, I need to know from day one that you're not mine. Then I will decide for you to be my son. Not for you to find out.
It's still your small dick energy that is making you say that, because you guys will bring a child home to us and say, hey, you have to love him like your own. And we do.
No.
What is your problem? Excuse me. Okay, everybody stop. Enuka, continue. Okay, you're interrupting me. I'll allow the women interrupt me. Don't interrupt me again. We're having peace this evening. You see, nobody is angry this evening. My own is very simple.
Okay.
Why is it that when they say a woman did something, the men are up in arms? Oh, she's so loose, she's so this. As per vagina vigilante now, counting what is happening with your body. You will not face your front and mind your business. Let me tell you, I don't have the energy. In fact, let the apostle come to my room, say, if I don't care. We're all here pretending. Like, the problem most of us have is pretense. Pretense. When I was on this call this evening, in fact, someone else said something.
Ron, can you stop? Stop. We are trying to hear what you say.
Someone else said something this evening about how the women now, they're not agreeing. Believe you me, they didn't agree then. It was the fashion that they were following. Their fashion was to tie wrapper. They were tying wrapper. Our fashion is not that. So it's not a matter of they're not agreeing. The fashion today is different. With all that wrapper they were tying, you know what they were doing? After all, my friend told me that her father, who was an evangelist in the village back in the day, her mother caught the man he had ridden into the bush on his bicycle and evangelized. And she caught him.
I was evangelizing someone.
Thank you.
No, it's true. That's true. Village evangelists, they know they behave well. That's
So
true. I agree
let me
with
just
you.
say this. A man is so up in arms when a woman cheats because of his ego.
Absolutely.
When the men cheat, they will tell you things like, I'm a man. Oh, wow. Do you know that women are more hormonal than men? The fact that we're not following everything that is passing is because we have better self-control. And like Bumi said, we don't like assholes. This evening, I was talking to my partner, and he was getting dressed, and he was preening, getting ready to go somewhere. And I said, I like vain men. You know, you want to go out, you comb your beard, you put your hair cream, you do everything, and you look like a human being when you're going out. Not that you come out and everywhere is ashy, like, Uncle, what's going on? You don't have cream. That is why the Lord created shea butter.
Please, fed them.
I mean,
now,
all I know is
women, you don't know what shea butter is?
It's like a kind of thick cream.
It's a moisturizer.
It's like Vaseline.
It's a thick butter, oil-based butter. My own is just simple, Let people live and let live. Whether it's a woman or a man that does it, please. If you know you can't live with it as a man, then walk away. As a woman, if you know you can't live with it, walk away. We're no longer in the age where people stay with people because they feel that, people will judge you. For how long will they judge you? Your gist is not the hottest gist in the world. I can give you a story. There's a woman who got married. Hold on. My cousin got married to a Yoruba man. This was in the 90s. And we're from the East. Someone in the village was like, hey, Yoruba. So she married a Yoruba man. Next to one girl that also was from our village brought home a Polish man. My cousins just ended now. So there will always be something else. Somebody will say something.
Today's news, tomorrow's suya paper.
Yeah.
So please, let us stop disturbing ourselves. If you know you can't live with it, walk away.
Nepa.
Please,
cut out or something. Or
I have one question. At what point does the drive come back for the women? You know, just so that I can know what my target should be on
business.
The app.
Business.
I want to know what age this thing I'll set on the app when I'm looking for dates.
When they start dressing sexy and they're old.
No, they always dress, they wear fashion. That doesn't mean that.
What do you mean that they're sexy and they're old? What do you mean?
It is part of culture. It is part of culture for them to dress up all the time.
It's normal for them to signal that they're trying to get some.
I'm talking of the ones where their libido is as high as the guy. When does he come back? That's what I'm asking now.
Wait, what?
I feel like each person is different, though.
Woman.
Yeah, and what stage
don't forget, we also go through menopause.
I mean, I'd rather have the
quality shit.
So basically, I have to find. You're telling me I have to find a window between menopause and when they finish with the kids. In short, this thing is an
yeah, he's okay, right?
Let me say something, and I'm very serious, and this is why women get upset, and I don't blame them because our sexuality waxes and wanes. When you experience us when it's waning, you think we are asexual and we don't want sex or enjoy sex or care about sex or need sex. And nothing could be further from the truth, because usually when it's waxing, or is that way? When it's waxing, it can be overwhelming too. We can be the biggest hole. We can be a bigger hole than you. That's why we be pulling all this shit under your nose, and you be like, how the fuck is this happening? How the fuck is this happening? Because a lot of times we do not feel safe enough to express that sexuality, so we'll do it even to our men. So we'll do it with this one, with that one, with anybody who's not looking. We have not created a place that understands women's sexuality and makes it safe for us, right? So that's a real thing. But it's also a real thing that it does wane. And a lot of men remember that and they move on. They just think, women are not into sex as much as men. No, it just depends on. We're not into sex all the time like you people. Your own is just like, it goes high and then it's gradually coming down till you die. But ours is not like that. It goes up and down and up and up and down, depending on what's going on.
Speaking as a woman who is not married and doesn't have children and loves this thing.
Even for that, Abby, because of menopause, there's gonna come a time when it might wane. It will go down and then it will come back again. But generally speaking, men are sexually active most of their
So let's not hurry me.
Let me explain on behalf
down
of
that
Solomon.
road.
The reason why Solomon did 300 wives and went after 700 concubines, let me just explain so that you understand it. It's because of this thing that Bumi just said. Is she on? Is she off? Oh my goodness, she's off today. I don't understand. She might
That's
be on
why
tomorrow.
monogamy is so challenging for men, and why we have to be honest about that.
So the man is thinking, who is on?
As long as now you build your period.
Because women are very women are still complicated to understand for the simple-minded man, and most men are simple. They actually cannot figure. They still do not understand women completely. That's the reality. What the conclusion is for most men is that just take. They say take it as it comes. So when you say a matured man is advising a younger man, he said, whatever you see, just accept it like that, like a man. Take it like a man. Because she's up today, and in a flip of a switch, she's totally on the other side. I don't get it. And when you turn to somebody and say, I don't get it, the person will be like, I don't get my own too. I just basically go with the flow. So for our grandfather's generation, it was like, well, let me try the next of my wives.
Right.
Right?
And
somebody's switch will be on, and then you'll be fine. Somebody else's switch will be on at another time.
But you know what, other than your dick, there's something else that's important about that arrangement.
Yeah.
You just said it. Most of you don't know what's going on. You're simple-minded. You don't understand. But women understand. And when you had sister wives, they were there for you during your period. They're there for you when you just gave birth. They allow you to rest. The burden of cooking and cleaning and keeping this man happy is not on you. The first few months when you just delivered a baby, and all that is gone in the Western society, in the nuclear family. There's so much pressure on women that was never the case. It's really difficult to expect a woman to be nursing children and be responsible for man's sexual appetites when she herself doesn't even have the support of anyone. No one is helping her look after those kids. No one is helping her look after her.
This is the exact reason.
I need to point out
why
quite
I am excited about
polygamy.
how my grandfather's generation handled it. Because this
fine,
thing
but
just explained.
before you continue, you and Bumi need to understand that yes, in some generation, polygamy was the way and all that, but it wasn't every woman that was happy to be in a polygamous situation. Some were given to the men, so they were given by their families. They didn't want to be in it. They were given to the man. It's not what they wanted. So it's not every woman that is like, oh, in those days, yes, we're all polygamous. Even in polygamous families, you will see some women that will be poisoning each other, they'll be fighting each other, they'll be doing everything, and they're the polygamous because they didn't like it. So it's not every woman.
You're absolutely right.
Yes, it did happen, but it wasn't in the majority.
It's also about extended family. I hate the idea.
Stop looking for the worst of all the scenarios.
It's not about I'm looking for the worst scenarios. I'm just saying that it's like, because someone like Edgar will hear and think that, in those days, everybody was a polygamist.
No,
that's not the truth.
No.
We had problems.
They were not.
We accept, Abby. We had problems. There were problems. there were those ones.
Not a
And this is why
problem.
I say that. No, this is why I say
I
that
can't have
education
four
should
headers,
have
bro.
education should have been that we looked at what was good and added it to ours. Like, you don't need to force somebody to go and get married to somebody she doesn't love or want to be with. We could have adjusted
Or
that.
child marriage and all that.
Yeah, we could have
Don't
basically
need
said,
any of that.
child marriage is illegal. But what we did instead, what my father's generation did instead, they just took everything, dumped it, and started wearing a suit and changed their names such that my generation, all of them must have English names. What kind of nonsense is that? Why can't you learn my name? Why do I have to be a John or a Joe?
Let's take
George.
Why would you? Yeah, why do I have to be a George? What is wrong with Oluwakayode? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with Musa?
I just want to point something out real quick. My grandfather was a polygamist. He had a lot of wives, but my father was a monogamist in that he only married one. However, that man always had side chicks, and this is the thing about that arrangement. That woman was not helping my mother in any way, shape, or form. She wasn't helping clean. She wasn't contributing to the bills. She wasn't doing anything. But they're all there, getting the benefit of my father's dick or whatever the fuck it was that he was doing. So it was like we didn't even we made it worse for ourselves. Now I'm not saying that we should go back to that because. No, am I saying that we had some kind of utopia in Africa that everybody was happy and we were all no? We had mad issues too. We had match issues too. But as Kanye said, it's for us to say, okay, how can we go forward in a better way? We just kind of abandoned everything and took on somebody else's that was less than perfect either. It seems like theirs is even worse than our own. For example, we can have monogamy, but at least have extended families. Have our mothers live with us, have cousins live with us, have your poor uncle or your I don't know, disabled aunt or whatever, so that there's help in the house. So the woman isn't overburdened to the point where she doesn't want to fuck, and he has to cheat. Like, give this shit a chance to work, in the absence of money. Like in the West, if you have money, you can hire cleaners, and you can hire, I don't know, whatever. It might be helpful, but for most of us, it really wasn't like that. It's extremely stressful, and it creates an environment where it's almost inevitable that a man will cheat.
We also didn't have as much depression because the things that should get you depressed.
Okay, fine. So
right?
if we're going to look at
postmodern, sorry, Abby, depression is probably more of a thing now than it was then because it's just so overwhelming.
Okay, so if we're going to look at leveling everything out, so number one thing is this whole brouhaha about men cheating, women cheating. Let's all calm down. Let's all be calming down about it and be like, you know what? We all have sexual urges. We all get attracted to one thing or the other that makes us step out. So instead of pretending as if that doesn't exist, let's acknowledge that it exists. But then how can we then revert back in a way that things are a bit more balanced? I think that's the conversation.
Religious people they think that they're clever. They're trying to eat their cake and have it. They're the ones behind all this nonsense. They want to, as what's her name was saying? Shit, how can I forget her name? She hit the nail on the head.
Enuka.
Yeah. These people she hit the nail on the head. All that fucking Psalm 91 virtuous woman nonsense. It's an attempt. Because men have power now that they never had in Africa like that. Power is a little bit more balanced than it is now. They're now trying to use this religion to put all the entire burden on women. That you have to be faithful no matter what. If I'm bad in bed, you still have to be faithful. If I don't bring home money, you still have to be faithful. If I'm a complete loser as a husband and a father, you still have to be faithful or you're a bad person. So it's not even tied to his behavior at all. But our behavior is completely tied to his behavior. If he's a good husband, forgive him now. What is all this? Blah, blah. Both of us is raised to the occasion and try to put this family before our own needs, not just one. And that's what religious people are doing right now. And that's one thing that can change right now. We can push back on that right now.
Okay, so as I was saying, Ron, I'll let me finish what I was trying to say because I'll forget. Because this is the problem I struggle with. I always try and remember what I'm trying to say. So I think we need to go back to a more balanced kind of conversation where it's like, look, okay, if we are saying that let's level things out and bring about equity, not equality, because again, this whole equality thing is really of no use to anybody. It's more about equity. Is then a case of what is it that we need in relationships? What is it that we are looking for, that we seek in each other? And then if it's for like the woman, where that whole thing of the stress of keeping the home, it was nicer to have people around, but the people who are going to come around are people who are also contributing to the family, not people who just come and sit down and be eating my food, and in the name of they're coming to help me, and I'm going to work and they're just sitting at home doing nothing. Then that's some sort of balance there. Then also, if the man is going, well, I can't eat jollof rice every day, then you have to also accept that your wife too can't eat jollof rice every day. And maybe here is a very, very out there random thought. Maybe this whole marriage thing that we are all so enamored by and everything, maybe it really isn't a working solution.
It isn't.
Maybe it's not a really working entity,
It's not.
and we should
That's
look at it
that's
again. So Enuka, you were speaking before you Nepal came, and so can you finish up what you were
As
saying?
in, NEPA is just dealing with me in this Lagos. This Saturday, on and off.
I got a question.
I don't remember what I was saying.
Yeah, Edgar,
Ron, do
once
you
Enuka
remember?
is
Because
finished.
you always. I don't remember what I was saying, so maybe Edgar should just go ahead.
You were talking about your the lady who brought a Polish person, and that your story would change and that kind of stuff. That so
That
if you are
was the
doing
end
something
of the story.
I thought
Okay,
that
then
was
I
the
went
end.
on.
oh, okay.
No, yeah, I've gone past that. I now started talking about a friend who took his wife away so that they could get alone time.
All right.
Yes, I think that back to the cheating infidelity side. I remember my younger brother once saying to me that he keeps hearing men go on and on about how women are so loose, they're so this, they're so that. But what did he do to make her go out? That he doesn't think women are wired to automatically want to go away from who they are um, committed to. It's not a normal thing. And he's the same one that said to me that he finds it really amusing. You will do something to someone that men will cheat on their wives and then also want to control how their wives react to the situation,
Mm.
and that he finds it unfair. And this is a man saying
is
this,
true, Sha.
that he finds it unfair. You bring home a child, you say that the child must be loved like your own, but you didn't tell her you were going outside to get the child in the first place. She wasn't a party to it. I have a friend. He refused to have anything to. He refused when we were in university. He went to Ife, I went to Unilag, and he refused to even have a girlfriend because when his parents were married, he's the first child. They both stepped out on each other. His father brought home baby number two, and during that period, Momsy was pregnant for baby number three, who was another person's child.
Oh
So
my
his
God.
two immediate younger ones are from two different people, not his parents, they're his half siblings, and then number four is his full sibling. But the thing messed his mind so much. Really good looking guy that he refused. When you talk about sex, it's like he doesn't want to hear about it because he had a bad impression of what sex should be. Perhaps infidelity and what it does will change if we have a different opinion of what sex is, if we
Mm.
have a healthier opinion of what sex is, and it's not just a tool. Because I keep hearing this about, oh, the woman has a headache. A woman only has a headache when she's no longer interested in you.
No,
Yep.
it's not true. This is
Not
what I'm talking
necessary.
about. That
Not
yes, like
necessarily.
we're over
Okay.
glamorizing loving sex just because, and that is an indication of the misogyny in our society.
She
Women
has to
really
be.
do go through periods where they have way more
What's
things to
wrong with
do.
you?
We're more,
Oh, it's
we
a
have,
power company. Oh shit.
and that's how we were made biologically. And thank goodness we are like that. We cannot all be airheads like these men who are
But
controlled by
Bumi,
the
you have to
all the time.
understand that women like Enuka and myself, we are not married. So when we are with a man and we say we have a headache, it's not because of children or anything. We genuinely are not interested. So
Okay,
for
why
maybe it's a
if you
different
don't have
dynamic.
children,
That is a
why
curable
are you
headache.
staying with a guy you don't like?
Exactly. Exactly.
It could be. There are people who are in relationships that they shouldn't be in, but then they are in them, and then they work their way out. But the bottom line is this: for single women and for married women, the dynamics are completely different.
I
I have to
agree,
agree
but
with Abby.
married women are the only ones who have to deal with this nonsense. Single women are completely free not to have to deal with this,
Yeah.
right? You're completely free to get your, get your not. If a single woman, if she's a normal, healthy person, there's no reason for the guy to cheat on her unless he's a dick. And if you find out he's a dick, dump him. Find someone
Well,
else.
it's easy to say, but also think about the fact that for us women, especially as a Yoruba girl, you're dating one person, your family knows that you're dating this person, you've been in a relationship 2 to 3 years. You find out he's a dick, you dump him, you start going out with another one. By the time you go out with the fifth one, they're already counting it on your head.
Uh, 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 can't
That
you be patient?
but
Holy
can't you be
shit.
patient? Can't you be this? Don't you
All
want to
right,
be
all right.
married? Blah 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 blah. So we
For
have the
me,
same
I'm
You
going
guys
to
problem.
are
sleep off.
false.
I'm
two
going to.
things with that,
That's
I'm
Abby.
going to
fucked
sleep
up.
off.
Okay,
Quick.
right
Point
though.
number five, you
Now,
should know what
Society
you're looking
pressure.
for and how to identify it. If you keep
can
making
I
mistakes over and over
can I
again,
talk
it's
now?
you something
It's
is
been
wrong with, and that's
45
not it.
minutes. It's been
If
45
it's not
Okay,
minutes.
very involved
run,
and
oh
you're
yeah, run.
listening
You
to
have
them,
the floor and you will finish the floor. Oh yeah.
Wait, I've not heard Candy say
It's
anything now. They didn't let Candy speak
Candy
throughout.
spoke earlier. And okay,
the
but okay,
spoken. Okay,
Candy can
so
still
this is
speak
the
after
thing.
run.
This is the thing. Before we started this discussion, we agreed we are going to speak on the majors, not the minors. I don't like the idea that when somebody says something that generally happens, we always go and look for that niche. The few 2 percenters, we discuss them on top of what we are discussing. It doesn't help the discussion because it's like we're just modeling the point. Secondly, in the even if yeah, even what they said about the olden days might be true, but saying that all the wives were unhappy, they were miserable. Remember,
I didn't say
what's
Nobody
that
said
the
though.
that. Nobody said that.
Nobody said
not
that.
You
talking
said that.
about the old women that they were not happy to stay
Nobody
because they
said
had
that.
to
a
stay.
lot of them, but no, we didn't
Nobody
say
said
all of
that.
them. We didn't say all of them.
Okay. Even in that instance, what was sought after in marriage is different from what you are looking for now. The
I agree.
mindset was different, totally different.
Yeah, me too.
Now
I
we
agree.
have we want to do romance, we want to have sex in the kitchen, we want to wait till the children so that it's summer. So no, that wasn't what they were bothered about then. We had other issues they were dealing with. Not these things. We're just let's not judge the past with present mindset. It's
That's
totally different.
that's true.
It's not the same. Then again, we've already established, even if you don't agree, subtly we've explained that the way men and women jump around are different. Things limit women. Period. Menopause, stress with
Childbirth,
children,
men,
stress with there are
menstruation,
many things
all kinds of
that
things.
mitigates that libido that the woman wants to express, even though she's thinking about it, but you can't fight nature, it doesn't work that way. And I also agree with what Bumi said when she said this some months back. She said that in the past, one man will marry 3, 4 women. All the women had functions they were performing in that household. Then all of a sudden, modernity came. Then you decided that say, no, we don't want it to be 3 and 4 women. I just want to be only me. In saying that, you decided to assume the role of the missing 3 and 4 women. Now the man comes to you and says,
Is it the
okay,
woman that brought it or religion? It's not the women that said I want it to be only me. Oh, is religion now.
I'm coming now. That's what
Mm-hmm.
women
No, let's
want.
be clear.
But that's what religion aside, that's what all women want today. Most women, that's what they
Who are the
want.
all
They
women?
want
Please speak
And
for
freedom.
because
yourself
of
if you're a woman.
religion's
She's a
influences
modern
Yeah,
now.
that
woman.
changed it.
Modern woman is a monogamist.
Simple. I don't know why we're even debating this.
But it's
The modern
religious
woman wants freedom.
influences.
Whoever, even if it's okay, yeah, religious influence. Now let's say it's religious influence. Now you have taken assume the role of those 3 people that are missing. Now the guy says, "Oh yeah, cook my food." You grumble. Am I your slave? Okay. You're in bed, roll over. Hey, I don't have time. Baby C is crying. Baby D is laughing. I need to do something about this. Then you leave. You abandon your primary objective in the entire marriage. Then this goes on
Primary
and goes on.
objective.
I seriously, what the
The
fuck is
man, the
that?
In
husband is
fact,
your
I
primary
don't even
objective.
know what to say.
Are you
No, no, I'm coming. Let me land. Who is
Hey,
your primary objective? Sorry, who is your
We
primary
have
objective?
we have suffered.
You
It's
married.
not your dick. Let me
It's the
tell you
man now.
that. If
thank you,
there is
Bumi.
one, and
Man
I don't
comes
think there is
first.
one, it's
If
definitely
you're feeding, your husband
go
comes
on, go on, go on.
first.
Make your point. Make your point.
That's the standard. So now
Who
you've
standard?
dispersed your attention and emotions all over the place. You are feeling for everybody. You are thinking and believing for everybody. And this man is left out in the cold. Then the man says, ah, this woman, ah, you really suffered. Oh, see the stress this Abby is going through. Abi, sleep
Why are you
tight
calling
and
my
come
name?
in. The guy goes, wait now, I'll give you illustration. Then the guy say, Abi, sleep tight, make sure you don't fall off the bed. Then he goes to the next street to go and catch the next available moving skirt. Then Abi finds her there. Abi, hey, what is going
Why
on?
are you using Abby?
Really?
I have no intention of being married. Leave me alone.
Wait now. The gist won't be sweet if I don't use Abi as a example. Abi comes and says, hey, we're going to massacre you. You have cheated. You have brought a child. And all this time, you were not calculating that you were busy neglecting this guy the whole time. And again, in a serious society, they are not even going to consider this thing I'm talking about. They won't know, nobody will know that Abby was busy abdicating her duty the whole time, trying to save the world, while the husband was drowning. You get what I'm saying? We all have to be intentional in our approach.
I
If
don't like how you're putting it like she's doing something wrong. That's not
I
right.
tell you.
She's not. For example, if the man, because remember how I started this conversation, it was on the back of Kayode saying men don't understand, men don't know how to be there for us. Men
no, no,
don't,
no,
like,
no,
they
no.
don't know how to take
I'm
care of
not
us or
endorsing.
help us. And not,
No,
just,
no, I'm not
am I just doing a
endorsing.
little housework? Will get him laid.
No, no, no.
Like
Bumi,
Luca
I'm not endorsing. I'm not endorsing
took
it.
him to a
I'm
hotel.
not endorsing. I'm explaining it how it looks. I'm explaining how it looks. Now, when we have this kind of situation at hand, um, believe it or not, there are some women that, like Bumi said, they are asexual. They don't even care. All those cheat stories and all that, they don't, as long as money is
You're the
coming into it.
minority. You're the one who said not to use minority.
You know, let me tell you something. Do you know if we should round this up to majority? I'm telling you, 90%, no, let me know if 90 is too much. 70% of marriages will crash instantly. If we go by what you just said, 70% of marriages will crash instantly.
Because I said that not every woman is asexual, that
Because
they're in
at
the
the end of the
minority.
day, if you decide to major on the act, everybody will take hard brash decisions. And at the end of the day, the table will break. It's not going to shake, it's going to break. Everybody will go their ways.
How is women not being asexual going to break tables? No, I'm trying to understand your point. How is women not being asexual? How is women being how is the point of women being
Many women,
sexual
wait,
beings
listen,
going to
listen.
break a table?
Many women, when they see, it's not that they do it on purpose. Many women, when they start nursing kids, they lose focus. Okay, let me give you a classical one. You're dating a
Focus.
girl for 6 years.
They
I'm
lose
coming.
focus.
You're dating a girl for 6 years.
Here is.
I'm coming.
Candy said they lose
Listen,
focus.
you have to keep your eyes on the ball. What is
Run,
the ball? Who is the ball?
run
The
is
ball is
deliberately
your
trying to
husband.
drive us
The
crazy.
moment you
Choice of word.
disconnect from your focus, you lose everything. And I'll explain. For instance, a guy dates a girl. Let's
Edgar,
say they
even
date.
you are laughing. Even Edgar is
Oh,
laughing at
Abby,
you.
listen, bro. Abby, wait. A guy dates a girl for 3 years. 3 years, the girl was always cleaning up to come to the bed. She showers, smells good. Then now, as soon as you get married, I do. All of a sudden, she won't even clean her ass from the toilet and just
Why
come to the
would she
bed.
do that though? Why? Who do you come up with this crazy
Yeah,
idea?
that's
That you suddenly become
I don't
dirty
know,
because
but it
you
sounds
marry a
real.
Wait,
man.
wait, wait,
It
wait,
sounds
wait.
real.
Are you
Hold on, Abby,
denying
Abby,
it
Abby,
happens?
Sounds
Abby,
real.
Are
Abby,
you denying
Abby,
it
hold on.
happens?
Excuse me, Ron. Have you experienced it?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So
Oh,
I will forget my
Have
hygiene
you
because I have a
experienced
ring on my
it?
no.
finger.
See,
Let us
listen.
not start
Wait,
drawing
hold on.
conclusions and stories
In
from
my
his
own
end. You
case,
don't see
no,
them
hold
happen.
on,
And then he will accuse us that we are using minority to judge majority. Maybe he had one or two cases.
hold on.
He's now using one to judge
Listen,
everybody.
I'm a married man, and my friends are
Clap
married.
for
Congrats.
And
yourself.
if we have to gist, listen, if we have to gist, we discuss all these things. And some things I hear beat, like, I just feel that some people have lost their marbles. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, I don't
So
get it.
have you spoken to 100 different married men? Let's even just use 100 men in South Africa, and they're telling you that their women lost their
Sorry.
hygiene.
How will I know if I cross the 100
What?
mark?
Wait, what? Women lost
My
their
crowd
hygiene?
is
What?
married crowd.
So what
Yeah,
are
he
you
said
talking about
that
the
once
minority?
women
Are you
get
not the
married,
one?
that they will even forget to wash their ass when they've been to the bathroom because they now have a ring
Wait,
on their finger.
have you not heard it before? Wait, have you not heard it before? You
I
see,
have
Nah.
never
when we are
heard it.
trying to have
I
serious
really hope that
I
shit's
discussion,
not
don't
real
understand
though.
wait,
though.
wait. When we're trying to have
So we are
serious
hearing for the first time.
discussions, you guys
Not very
complain.
real.
Thank you, Mr. H. Tell him because me, I've never heard this kind
Wait,
of jagbaja.
I
have
know
you
the
heard?
kind of
Have
people
you
you're
heard?
hanging out
Wait,
with.
wait.
It's a
Okay,
problem.
When
Ron.
when we
I
are
don't
having,
understand.
my head is not yet
Can I
married now. Don't worry. When
can
we
I
are
say
having
something real
these
quick?
serious
Oh, so wife is married.
discussions,
He will know people with dirty bumbo.
no,
Why
you will know,
men who are
guys.
married to wives with dirty bum
Wait,
bum?
hold on, hold on. When he gets married, wait. When he gets married, you see, marriage is like secret sport. Before you enter, nobody will tell you anything. It's the day you marry and you get in and you think you are suffering. That's the day other people tell you, oh,
Well,
is that
Kayode, when you got married, your wife
Ron.
started to not wash her hands.
Ron.
So let
Can
me let me see if I
I
can let me see if I
say
can
something?
explain.
Wait,
Let me
can
see
I
if I can
say
explain
something
what
real
Ron is.
quick as a married
I actually
woman?
know
Can
what
I
he's
say
trying to
something?
say.
Wait,
okay?
I'm just trying
Can
to
Candy
listen.
speak,
Just
please? Let
said
Candy
that
speak before
Wait,
Kayode.
I'm in another planet. Explain it
Candy,
to them.
let Candy go first.
Let Candy, oh
So,
yeah.
as a married woman with children who currently has a 2-year-old that's 90% of the time stuck to my boob, I before I ever got married, one of the things I always feared about was letting myself go.
Mhm.
Because it was something I used to see a lot. Now, what Ron is saying, I think, is a gross exaggeration. I don't
Yeah.
think there's any woman that just forgets to wash herself. Um,
yeah.
They
But
do.
like
but
but like he's trying
but it's a reality. I'm not even joking. It's a reality that there's a point. I
Okay.
used to really I was always afraid that I was gonna lose myself. I was gonna let myself go.
Uh-huh.
And I think this is a thing that a lot of women struggle with because there's so much pressure on us. There's so much fucking pressure on us when you're supposed to be able to have kids and look perfect and keep the house
Yep.
perfect and all this, but it's just not possible. And I will say,
Practical.
when I first had Kennedy, for like almost 2 years, I didn't do my nails. I didn't do anything. Well, right now I still don't do my nails, but like I could definitely. There was definitely there was definitely a point where I was not. I've always been into fashion, like many of you know, fashion, makeup. For
Yeah.
a while there, I lost all of that, and it takes a lot of effort. People can make a joke about it or whatever, but it takes a lot of effort. It's a mind fuck, man. Trying to like stay attractive while you have a kid hanging on your hip, a kid that you know I've
Who
even
is playing music? We are listening to someone.
She's telling
I
the
know.
truth. That's why I'm playing
Candy,
hallelujah.
continue. Candy, continue, please.
I've washed like snot out of my hair, like shit like this. But on the other hand, though, on
And
the,
this is the discussion you don't want to
but
have.
Wait,
Ron,
he
wait. But on the other hand, too, a lot of women though too now are making a conscientious effort to self care has become a real thing. It's like we are trying. Like I said, Ron, you are just exaggerating
females.
to buttress your point. But we
Yes,
are
yes.
trying. We might not be where we were before we got married, but we are trying. I will guarantee there's no woman that's not washing her ass. I'm sorry. So
Okay. Let
I,
me
I'm just
complete.
so like
trying
I
to
said,
make.
Let me complete
So
the statement.
No,
Let me
let
complete
Candy
the statement.
finish, please.
Just
Ah,
finish.
but
Let
no,
me
she
complete.
I mean,
hasn't.
and you guys, man, like you're trying to like downplay this thing and But that's what Bumi was trying to say. This is why we can't bring this stuff up to you guys, because you think it's like a joke. You think, oh, you're saying, oh, we've put you last because who am I? I'm responsible for children who cannot be responsible for yourself. You're gonna be jealous that I'm taking care of my fucking children. You're gonna be telling me that, oh, I've neglected you. That's some bullshit right there. It's some real bullshit.
And Candy, the reality
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
Candy, well said.
very well said. But you see, the thing is that men also know this. Married men know this, and so it becomes a conversation he's incapable of bringing up because he knows that instead of it fixing the problem, it will trigger you more. And the whole idea. Wait, and the
understanding.
Yeah. So let me tell you what men do. Again, I am guilty of this. In my trying to show understanding, right? Very afraid of triggering and making the matter worse. Basically, you hold it within yourself, and then you start asking yourself, who are you going to tell that your wife is competing, or basically has taken attention away from you and giving it to your own son, right? So it now becomes something you have to swallow and you just sit down there. When they say, go and bring this, you say, yes, ma. Go and bring that, yes, ma, right?
That's not normal to you.
No,
that
but that's
of your child.
Exactly.
I don't even understand how they even say it with pride.
Yes.
It was good
Listen, I can tell you now, because now I'm at that stage of life where I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. But that is the state of mind of a lot of men who are raising children with a woman they love. They can't say it out. So they have to hold it in because you don't even go and say it to anybody. And so because people will ask you that kind of question that are you in your correct sense? So the guy has to hold it together. Now, the mistake I made when I was doing 110% into one person was that my other friends would just go out, ease themselves, come back home and be the most jolly guy around. No problem. Yeah. You got a headache, I'll bring you water, I'll bring you paracetamol. You know what? I'll talk to kid in. Do you want any food? No, I don't need any food. You know what? Take a break off cooking. Nobody needs to cook in this house. I'll eat whatever I can find. That would have been easier.
I'll order food. Fuck that.
That would have been easier. Talk about infidelity among people who don't have kids, though. Just
who don't have kids.
Fair and balanced.
No, because they keep making
let's drive towards the person who doesn't have kids. Is that because they don't want to, or they are trying to and they can't? Because that's stress.
No.
They don't have children. Why are we looking for the semantics?
No, let me explain why. Let me explain why.
Children are not involved.
Why I brought that up? Why I brought that up? Because there's also the stress of basically trying to have kids. So it basically comes to the same thing.
No, let's take it to confuse the matter, my dear.
No, okay, then let's leave
it at the people. We've discussed marriage.
Let's leave it at the people who have decided.
Let's be fair.
People who have decided that they are not having. People who have decided that they are not.
What to do with anything? Forget the whole children thing. That's still part of marriage and children.
Then what were you talking about?
Let's talk about people who are in relationships. They don't have children.
Yeah.
Maybe they're even married. We don't care whether they're married or no. Actually, that matters, and that's interesting. Actually, like if I was married to you and we didn't have kids, maybe we've decided we don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
I think it would matter more to me if you cheated on me if we're married than if we were single. I don't know.
There you go. You see, you're confused. This is the thing that confuses men.
To talk about it. I was married at 24. I was dating the guy I was with at 20. So
I was married at 26.
Consider this reality.
Why?
But half of the people on this panel, that's the reality.
No, so Enuka, since you asked and you were not there the day I said it, I married because I wanted to have unlimited sex. And I don't want to feel guilty about it.
Oh my goodness, you are one of the many men that falls into that stupid trap.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That's why I'm now living my 30s now.
Welcome.
He did not tell you that story because people who want unlimited sex, the last thing they do is marry. The reason he had to do that was
without guilt.
No.
Bumi, he did it because he was religious.
Exactly.
It's religion that is the problem.
Wait, what's your guys' religion?
It's Christian.
Gospel of prosperity and Pentecostal Christianity and all that.
Where you're not supposed to have sex before you get married. That's the really. That's most people.
See, I'm too late, bro. Right? I'm too late.
Right? Hey,
And
so
gas.
so as I was saying, right?
Your stock is low.
It is so the men, a lot of men cannot actually bring that conversation up. So when somebody's explaining,
You're still taking it back to the whole children thing. I think we flogged that shit to death. Let's give people who don't have kids.
No,
a
Abby
chance.
does not believe it happens. We're trying to convince her.
that
It does.
see
It happens.
what you guys have left out is that you've left out the fact that there's a moment of temporary insanity inside this whole raising kids. The amount of pressure a mother is under, having to play like 4 different roles to raise kids, no vacation. Like I have a friend that is telling me now that there's stress at home. The kids are even older. So I'm asking him that since you people started, you got married how long ago? Have you taken a vacation? And he's like, no. I'm like, don't you think that that's enough for some people to run crazy? That you think things are normal? You're both not normal. No
Even
vacation.
a vacation with kids is not
Honestly,
a
it's
vacation.
worse
They
than
come
staying
back.
at home.
They come
sometimes.
back. No, yeah, that was what.
Oh my God.
That actually is what he told me. So but I said you basically you come back more tired than when you left.
Yeah.
That what you need to do basically is to tell her you go, right? I'll be with the kids 2 weeks, and then let her come back and tell me that she's still nagging you. Then he was like, oh my goodness, you're right. You need to give. Some people have been going for the last 10, 15 years, no break, no single day of rest. Then when somebody's telling you that they're washing snot
when you come home.
When they're washing snot off somebody's hair, right? That's the person you hear. You think it's impossible for somebody to forget to wash her ass? Do you know what stress does to mental health? Inside this whole, you must keep it together. And then you go to work. You know what she's thinking of?
With the stinky ass. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You haven't
seen.
You have not experienced.
Organized.
You have not experienced stress. You have not experienced stress that moves people into temporary insanity. That's why. But for these people that we're talking about, sometimes they have no choice. Nobody to help. Right? Nobody to help. They don't want to lose.
I always went mad. I
The marriage
used to pray for a second wife.
The marriage in itself, right?
That's how bad it got. God.
And the marriage is so big a deal for them that they don't want it to break up because they don't want to be the blame. You are the one whose marriage broke up. So they're trying to hold that together.
No,
they can see
even that is because of our kids. Once a woman has children, she'll move heaven and earth to protect them because we don't have as many options to have children as men do. Men easily can afford to be a bit more lackadaisical about that shit.
Also, the women are more attached to the kids naturally because basically the kid was with you longer, 9 months of carrying this child up and down. And whatever it is, women are usually more attached.
Once women reach menopause, we can't have kids anymore. So biologically, the way we react to our children, our offspring, is very different from the way men do. Men can father 1,000 children. Men can have children one every month if they want to, biologically, right?
Every day, actually.
So biologically, evolutionarily speaking, they are not as invested in every child as the mother is.
True. So, but for whatever the reason, women find they are more attached. That's why a guy.
What I'm trying to tell you is that many of us stay with you because of those children. Without those children, because once the children come, we tend to notice what a complete dick you are. But now we can't leave because we have these fucking children that need a father and then we need extra income and blah blah blah. And
you're also
stay with you. That's why a lot of us, once the kids grow up, we leave your trifling ass.
But that also
don't have to think about that.
That also is the reason why
the woman is looking after him.
A lot of women also go through moments
more than it benefits women. That's why because a man,
a lot of women go through what?
Moments of temporary insanity.
Okay.
Trying to keep
We're
this
not
balance.
going through temporary insanity.
There's a lot of stress.
There's a lot of stress.
Let him finish his point. Then you can make yours, please.
There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of things that basically don't add. They are not humanly possible that they are supposed to hold together, right? And so they just at a point in time, you can see it, right? At a point in time, they just do whatever.
I take offense to the idea that we're insane. We're not insane. We are the sane ones in this equation. You guys do not have. You see, a human child needs to be looked after much more than any creature on earth. And a man cannot actually be with a child 24/7 the way a woman can. Do you understand? So
So
And it's because you
again,
don't understand it that we look crazy to you.
okay. So okay, good. So maybe from from the man's point of view, it's as if the
Yeah,
woman
it's
is
like I
going
actually
through.
did.
Is
But
going through, but yeah, because let me tell you. So let me help you understand how a man sees it. Here is a woman who
You're
is
saying it
always,
from a man's point
yeah,
of
yeah.
view.
She's always looked sexy. It's the reason why it was like, oh my goodness. Once I see her coming down the corridor, my third leg is saluting. Then suddenly she has snot in her hair and she doesn't even realize it. It's like, how? I mean, did you not notice that the baby threw up on you?
I don't know about
you know,
that. My father was not
how?
like that.
You
I don't
had to
know
you
why
were
most men
you
are
were
not
going
like
to the
that.
nail
Most
salon.
immature men are like that.
Well, before we got married, you're going to the nail salon every week. Now your nails have not been done in years. Can you see that it's overgrown?
Please stop. We have
So,
had this pressure our whole life.
so the
We
man
have had this
basically
pressure our whole life.
But
to
he's saying
men.
from a man's point
point
of view.
So the
He's
man,
saying from a man's
Agree.
point
This
of
is from an
view.
immature man's point of view.
yeah,
Mature
I'm
Okay,
saying
but it's still a
most men,
man's point of
Mature
most
view.
men
men are
understand.
immature.
Why you labeling men now? Who is
No, that's okay.
let
Let
us
her,
become a
no, she
real
can label
men,
it. She can label it that
immature
way.
men, fake
We
men.
can't hear anybody.
She can label it that way, but most men are immature, if that's what you want to call it, right?
I will give you that.
I cannot
Yeah,
speak
I
for
agree
all.
with you.
I cannot speak for all. So if you now have some unique example, the one that basically showed that he was all together, let me tell you some secrets. He used to turn around and be immature with his colleagues. His colleagues are like, my friend, suck it up and go back there. What do you mean that? Can you hear yourself? Go back there and act like a man. And that act is an act. He's still suffering, but he cannot say it. Because everywhere he turns to say it, they tell him, suck it up, you're a man, you should have no
What you're
emotion.
saying does
Go
not
back there and
sound
face
right.
it.
It
Well,
doesn't
that
sound
is,
right at all.
yeah, exactly, I know.
What is
But that's-
reality?
That is
No,
He's
no,
telling
it is
you
not.
the truth.
Guys.
You're telling me that today, when a man is married with kids like in the West and in a nuclear family, the thing that is bothering him is how the woman looks. That's not it.
I don't
that.
No,
agree.
that's
No.
why we're saying
It is
that
how
let him
overwhelming
finish.
the
That's not what he said.
It is
It's
how
not the
much
looks.
work is involved in raising these kids. It
It's
is.
all about the looks.
It's
Uh-huh.
not about
It's
children. We already know about. Oh, don't let yourself go when you marry. Everybody fucking knows about that shit. So men are the only ones who are taken by surprise when that shit happens. Come on.
but,
Okay, look.
I understand your frustration,
I'm
but the
not
reality
frustrated.
on ground, I
We
understand, but the
that
reality,
she was not lying. And that is what it means to live in a patriarchal society, because every single woman is aware of that shit before they are even menstruating. They understand what it
Exactly.
means. Don't let
Does
yourself
it-
go. If
does
she
it cause
cheats on
stress?
you, it's usually because you let yourself go. We
Does it
know.
cause
So
stress?
how is the father? The man
Does
who
it
has
cause-
other children now surprised that that shit is happening. Like, what the fuck is that?
Does it cause stress?
According we have this.
I can't hear anybody without the noise.
Come on.
We are already struggling to hear. You now come and play music.
Does it cause
yes,
stress?
We're already
that's to stop
struggling
the
to hear.
noise.
The
That's
question
to
is,
kill the noise.
all those things that the women know, right? Does it cause stress, considering the fact that those are like 4 different full-time roles that one person is supposed to now be playing? That's what I'm.
It does. It causes enormous stress. It's crazy.
But that is what I'm referring to. That's what I'm referring to. I said
What's that
that.
to do with men?
No, I said. Oh, you see, that means you were not listening, no? Because
No,
what I was
that's why I'm
saying.
saying let's hear him out
What I was
first. Then
saying
we'll
was
be able
that
to.
the amount of stress it causes people, some women, to go through moments of temporary insanity. That's what I said.
Right.
That have you ever
Fair
considered
enough.
the amount of stress that does on people's mental health?
I will give you that. I would say that
But
women
that's-
are probably
but that's why I said that you
probably
went
more
off.
surprised by what happens than men are surprised that the woman loses interest in sex. Almost all men are warned about that. And they all know that once
Which is why the man unfortunately cannot come out and complain. If he complains, he gets laughed at. Did you not know what you were getting into when you went and signed a contract? So he can't say anything. So the guy who is taking his wife to Eco Hotel, he's trying to basically say, come and go and relax. But she carries the stress in her to the place also. She wants to know, in her mind at that point in time, it's stressful, basically. You're now trying to remove her from something she has been doing for the past 5, 10, however long. Right? she's still not going to be present with you there. Her body will be there, but her mind will be at home with
That's
the kids.
right. That's true.
Right? So the stress continues. That's what I was trying to say. And then you just went off and you now start arguing with me on the same thing that you now came and argued with me. Never farabalẹ̀.
I was listening, but that was not what I heard.
And Abby was trying
You
to tell
weren't
you.
listening.
I
You weren't listening.
to be talking about men. This shit happens to women. I think the more interesting conversation is, why do women not see this shit coming? Why do they all glamorize this thing? Oh, I'm gonna have a baby. We're gonna be so happy. When it's never anything like that.
Because the education told them that that's how it is.
They're overwhelmed.
You know whose fault it is?
Pressured.
Yeah.
Let me tell you whose fault.
Because men know.
Wait,
I know.
Okay,
Wait.
Ron,
You know
you
whose
have the
fault
floor.
So I'm not
Okay,
exercising
you know
now.
whose fault all this is? Now,
Whose?
I'm an advocate for women to look
Break.
modest, right? Not too like this, right? Flamboyant. There's a reason why. I'll explain. It's better a man falling in love with
Podcast.
you, falls in love with you because of how he sees you. He said he sees you with all the paraphernalia for daytime, and night time, male go to the you enter bathroom, come out, you gone looking like his auntie. They're like, wait, this is what I signed for. And this is what, and
Sorry,
even while
sorry to
dating, there are some girls that you can't even have sex
Ron.
without going, they have
But
sleeping
today's
makeup.
man understands what makeup looks like on a woman now.
No,
People do not
there's
even
sleeping
understand
No,
the
makeup
pressure
for
you put
women
on
now.
us and how we
Abby,
do.
Women have sleeping
Meanwhile, all
makeup.
of you have
Fraud is
pot
fraud.
bellies, you're bald-headed, you have diabetes.
Fraud is broad.
But the
Fraud is
pressure
fraud.
that you will put on us,
Diarrhea.
it's not from
Sin
here,
is
it's
sin.
not from
Eh?
you. Right.
No, you know they've got night makeup now. You know what night makeup is? You claim you go to bathroom to go and wipe your
I
face
love
and
how he
shower.
likes the woman's
Then
skin.
you still
Explain
hold on.
woman to us.
Mansplaining.
Wait
Somebody
now.
wanted toilet paper?
You still go and put light makeup and claim that that's your natural look. Then come and mess up my pillow, my white pillow, claiming that you came from natural. You see what's got rub brown shade and everything. I say, oh, I look natural. Then immediately after you say, I do from reception, and you get home to the house, the truth revealed itself. But this is not what I signed up for now,
makeup.
and it gets worse. From that point, things start going down spiral. It's all about the mind. We've
You have a
established
point
that
there. You have
men
a point.
move by sight. Men move by sight. And that's what I've been trying to establish here.
You
They
know,
move by sight. All this pressure, it is true that women go through pressure, but the man's brain doesn't register it.
Let me put
That's
it
the
out
point.
here. I move by sight.
Guys,
You do not
I
have
have a
six pack.
question.
What
You
you
are not.
said right
Guys,
here.
guys,
I don't want to
guys.
see you.
Does
Don't
not
come near
I got a
me.
question.
And if
Guys.
I'm with you and 3 years down the line you start to grow a gut out the window, I don't want to hear.
no, but Abby,
See,
consider
I
the
move
fact
by
that
sight.
Edgar has a
somebody
question.
Edgar has a question.
somebody has Enuka. Enuka goes to the bathroom, comes out. She's now looking like Candy. It's like, what happened to all the Enuka I saw when I said
No, Enuka cannot reduce. No, if it's that one, Enuka can't
no?
lose.
You still don't get it. I'm saying that
I will slap
people.
you through this.
Edgar has a question. Edgar, what's your question, please?
Yeah, so
Ask your question, Daddy.
would you rather have a gay son or a daughter? That's a
Oh
no.
my goodness. This is not that.
Dude, don't even start what you can't finish.
This is where this is an
Time
area
out.
we don't want to
It's not
Run,
it's got
I'm
nothing
going
to
back
do
right
with
now.
with what we're talking
Oh wait,
about.
wait, sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry, wait. Yeah, I meant to say, would you have a son that's like he's like a shy boy? Or would you have a daughter that's a tiger? What would you
Edgar,
prefer
it's
to have?
got nothing
You
to
have-
do with the topic that we are talking about.
Yeah, you have no
Okay,
control over how your children turn out. They just turn out to be who they are.
Exactly.
Thank
It's got
you.
nothing to
Yeah.
do.
Ron, I have a comment about what you said
It's not a choice. It's not
No.
a choice, Edgar. You
About
don't
what?
choose.
What did I say?
You don't choose.
about the whole makeup thing.
Oh, okay.
I get your
Okay.
point a little bit. Like, I don't use filters because I think if you're younger, you can use filters because in real life you're not gonna look that different from the filters. But I'm older, I don't use filters. If I use filters and you meet me in real life, you just be shocked. So I agree
Am
with you
I
a little
lying?
bit. Hold on, I agree with you a little bit that you should not oversell how you really look. It will backfire on you down the line.
Yeah.
But don't you think that when you're meeting a stranger, how they look, if they're attractive, it helps. But somebody that you know, attractiveness, and you've come to love, attractiveness ceases to matter, right?
Yeah.
Like and it doesn't matter how ugly our mothers are, we will always love them. It doesn't matter how ugly our siblings are, we don't even see it because we love
Can
them.
I ask,
Isn't it the
can I
same
answer
with
your
your
question?
spouse that as you grow together and you love them more and more, you really don't even notice that as much?
Can I answer your question?
Yes.
You are right. The longer you stay together, the fonder you become, you fall in love and all that. But you still need to understand that that is not sex. That is love. There is sex, there's love. Two different things for men.
Yeah, that's fair. So
That's my point.
so can you love your wife or your long-term spouse and not be sexually attracted to them?
Yes.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've
so
seen it
you
happen a
can.
couple of times, many times.
That's very
Very, very
possible.
Guy, why are you quick to agree? Yes, so
because no,
you need to
because
let the
because
question end.
no, because no,
Mr.
because I
Macaroni,
realize
you don't see Mr. Macaroni.
because basically, again, there are many solutions to these things. Actually, that's the thing. Once you pull in this whole education, religion,
You
you
mean
put
like you watch
yourself
porn, you turn off the light and you pretend to be
whatever.
somebody else?
But, no, I mean, there are many solutions. That's just the reality of
One
life.
of yeah,
But
yeah.
but we kind of
Long-term
forced
sex, yeah.
ourselves. We forced ourselves into a box, right? And then now we're saying that there is no room to move. And then they
Yeah.
also tell you that if you try to think outside the box, that it is totally wrong. So all the solutions you see, basically, do not touch them.
Right.
Just live in
Hellfire,
frustration
straight.
and be happy about it. They also actually tell you to be happy about it. So it's not even enough for you to complain and to be frustrated. They're telling you also how your state of mind ought to be, otherwise something is wrong with you. That's the problem.
Okay, well, I think we've discussed this at museum. The only person who hasn't spoken is Francis. Have you got anything to add to this, Francis?
Let me see your face first now.
Hello, Francis.
No, I'm just listening.
Francis,
I'm
have you
just
got anything?
listening.
Oh, you're
Ravi,
just
this your
listening.
voice
Okay.
so good, man.
Put your camera on. Put your camera
Okay,
on.
so well, I think that we've been able to, even in the midst of all the different opinions and everything, we've been able to come down to a general consensus, which is we need to have different kinds of conversations about this whole concept of being together, what it is that we want, what it is that we're looking for, and all of that. And I just want to say thank you to every single person who's been part of tonight's show. You guys are the real rock stars. Thank you to Ron, to Kaya Day, to Francis, to Bumi, to Edgar, to Enuka, to Candy, to Mr. H, to Buki. Unfortunately, Buki left. I don't know what happened there. To Efetesi,
Sorry.
Usaku, Raymond.
Scared her away.
Buki, please, in case you're upset, look, this is our
Booking
Bumi.
not that
So
That's what it
we have to drag her back and remind her that everybody's opinion is welcome, but she really doesn't mean it from a place of harm.
You did
It's
not
just that
prepare.
she's
You
very
did not prepare
passionate.
her before you brought her on the show.
So it's just a place of passion, that's all. To Ijeoma, to Wed MC, to DJ Abbas, Carol Mary, to Mininu Silva, to every single person who has been part of tonight's show, to Princess Monica, to Zainab Atta. Thank you, each and every one of you. Truly, truly, truly appreciate you. So till we bring another scintillating topic next week. And of course, guys, stay for the after party. Don't go anywhere. But we bring this another, another amazing topic next week. Take care and God bless. Bye.